Never before have we had greater need to face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but I've been...
Whenever it wants to change. Oh, what is going on, everybody? Why am I alone again? I'm not alone again. I am actually here with my main man, Andrew. It is Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, depending on where you are. Hi, buddy, you're awake. And it is time for Foil Variant. Guys, we are back. I know we had to take last week off. It was literally a down-to-the-wire moment last week. It was, we're ready to go, we're setting things up, and then just on both of our ends, things blew up, and we went, okay, let's just, for the sake of everything, especially with Andrew going to Fan Expo Dallas last week, we were just like, let's make this easy. So we're back. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Andrew here is back from Fan Expo Dallas, where he hung out with all the RIPPAVERSE crew, showed off all of their new stuff, all their old stuff, everything. I'm just giving a very general vamping. Why don't you actually tell us what it was like there at Fan Expo Dallas? How'd everything go?
It was a blast, actually. I'm really thankful for how well it did for us. Saturday was pretty busy. Sunday was even more busy. And what's really cool and quite the blessing is that the majority of the people that we saw on Sunday, which was a lot of people that came up to our booth, had never heard of us before. So we made like Friday and Saturday, we had a lot of people coming up to the booth who were longtime fans of ours that have at least, been buying our stuff for a year or so. Saturday was all brand new fans that had never heard of us, and they wound up buying a bunch of books and stuff. We even had one guy buy the freaking Isom statue. He had never heard of us before that day, and he bought the resin Isom statue and some of the books, which was totally crazy.
It's like, who's that again? Like, it's not Gentle Giant that did it, is it? No, it's another big one. Who made the statue?
Oh, Iron Studios did the Isom one.
Iron Studios, yes.
And McFarlane did the Yaira one. We brought two of the Yaira statues with us, and we sold one of them.
You did? Oh, man. Dude, that's so... Okay, first, let me ask you a question about this. Just like a general question, because I'm sure, like, when you were a kid and everybody out there, when we were younger, we would go in, or even now, less so now because it's all Funko Pops now, but we used to go into comic book stores and they'd have all those big resin statues, right? The Daredevil on the church cross. And I always went like, so when I was a kid, I was like, that's the coolest thing. Of course, everybody's going to buy it. And then you get older and I go, oh, those are really expensive. Who is buying it? Who is buying this? Like, is it like really like collectors or not? Hold on. Is it like comic shop owners who want like a display piece, or is it genuinely just collectors, or like who snagged them?
It was like a pretty heavy duty collector, and they wound up getting they had a stack of books with them that they got signed.
Of your books?
Yeah, of our books that they got signed, because we do free signings at all of our appearances. We don't charge for autographs on any, whether people want to get a T-shirt signed, whether they want to get a statue signed, or the books or whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. All of our talent is super happy to sign stuff. People were even asking me to sign stuff, and I'm like, I'm just the editor, bro. Like, but okay, sure, I'm happy to do it.
What is it? There's like,
it's not gonna make it worth anything.
Of you total. There's like eight of you total, right? So like, you got to just close out the collection. Like, like I told you last night, even though it sucks, I'm gonna buy all 4 issues of Ultimate Incursion just because I need to close out that thing, right? Not that you suck that hard, but like, yeah, so that's funny. And you never know, there might be one of those days like in the future where it's like, oh no, Joe Bennett, like, you know, his hand is cramping, we need somebody to fill in for like a book, does anybody have a story idea? And you go, Eric, me, and then look at that, they've got your signature already, and they can be the first guy. They'd be like full creative Rippaverse team. Oh man, like the original Image founders, right? Like
Yeah.
your Silvestri, your Liefeld, your Lee, hell yeah. So don't write yourself off so soon. But that's cool. Do you guys have a panel or anything? I have no idea.
We had a couple of so it was the panel situation was something else. We had been trying to get a panel for a couple of months,
Yeah.
and it like we weren't like getting things like locked in. And so at the last minute, they tell us, yeah, we got you a panel. So they tell us on Friday, like late Friday evening, that we've got a
Right.
panel for, I think it was like 11:15 the next day. And we're over here like, it'd be cool if we had more than 24 hours, or at least,
Yeah.
because it's not even 24 hours. It'd be cool if we had at least 24 hours to promote the fact that we've got a panel. That would be great.
Or
But
even
we
like
didn't
get
have
things
that.
together, right? Like just
Yeah.
yeah, what the hell?
So we did have a panel, and there was a decent turnout for the fact that there were only a handful of hours notice for people. Because usually for panels at conventions, if people plan on going to panels, they're looking at the convention
Yep.
schedule and looking like, okay, so they're plotting out their weekend, right? They're like, okay, I'm going to be at that panel for an hour, and then I'm going to go to this one over here, then I'm going to go
Yep.
check out the vendor room or whatever.
And the only
right?
time they like go for anytime they'll like change their schedule or look for like active updates is if it's somebody they really like, right? Like if it was like, oh, J. Scott Campbell's got a panel, you would be on his Twitter because you're like,
Right.
I need to be at that one.
I'm
But,
like, get me on a plane.
right. But then generally, if you're just like, oh, I'm at the con, let's check it out. Yeah, you go through the thing, you go, oh, that'll be cool, and you mark down potential things. If something moves by like 30 minutes, as somebody who's both been on like a panel presenting and then in the crowd, I know that for me, if it's something I'm not super like into or whatever, like
You're not going to throw off your whole weekend
right,
schedule for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh, cool, an indie comic book thing. But if I didn't know them and I went and I was like, oh, where 30 minutes? Nah, man, like whatever, I'll catch them on Twitter. So no, that's
Yeah, with these conventions, you have finite time, right? That you spent to
especially you
to go
guys,
there
yeah.
and get everything done. Yeah. And so we did wind up
and you have
having
even
one.
more finite time if you're trying to get a fucking J. Scott Campbell cover all 3 days of the
Oh
goddamn
my
convention.
Lord, yeah.
It's coming up again. We're gonna get hurt again. I know it. We'll talk about it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But yeah, so we wound up having a panel where it was Eric, it was Gary, it was Jay, and we had James Arnold Taylor.
I saw that.
On it
Is
as well.
he just like your guys' best friend now? Because I know you hung out with him at MegaCon. I think
We were
it was,
chilling,
right?
and he had our so he came by at our booth in Denver
That's what it was.
last year.
Yes.
And then he actually chilled at our booth this weekend. So that's where he was, selling his autographs and things like that, which was super cool. He's
Was
like
that
just
did
the
he
nice
officially
guy
do
in
that
the
with like
world.
coordinate that with Eric, or was it just sort of like I'm in the area? Oh, hey, we have
Yeah,
a booth.
Yeah, we set it all up and had it coordinated like that.
That's so
And it was
cool.
pretty rad, chilling next to Obi-Wan and him just being a really chill guy.
In the warehouse, do you have, like when you go to like a laundromat or a restaurant and they put up all the photos of like people who ate there or whatever, do you have your celebrity Rippa fan wall? Because you can have James, you can have Dean, you can have what's his name, Slash, right? Like it's going.
Yeah, we could have Slash, we could have Gina.
Oh yeah, Gina, duh. I'm sure there's like 5 other people.
There's
that
probably
we're
some more
missing. Yeah.
that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head. But yeah, we don't have one of those yet. We should
Michael
probably do
B.
that.
Jordan. I own because look, whatever
Michael
you
B.
think about.
Jordan's gonna be Isom.
That's all. You took my joke for me because that's what I was gonna say. Is that we all know, like, regardless of what you think of him, Michael B. Jordan is a giant like nerd. Like he made Marvel make his Killmonger armor into Vegeta armor, right? So I could definitely see him just on his free time. Hey, assistant, go pick up my comic book pulls or whatever, and then here's Rippa, and he goes, oh, this Isom, I look just like him. Let's do this. Well, I don't need to be Val-Zod, right? I'm telling you.
He could probably pull it off. He's a good actor.
He is a really, really good actor. But see, but Avery gets like too much of the like almost like Luke Cage. Like if his hair were to grow out, he'd get like the Luke Cage afro, right? But then Michael, yeah. So fix it in post. We'll fix it in post.
I'd want to see like Michael Jai White play like an older Isom.
Oh man, I don't even. Can we cut? Hey, future Mav, can we cut like those last 10 seconds? Because that's way better than Michael B. Jordan. Holy shit! Why did I feel embarrassed that I didn't even just automatically leap to Michael Jai White.
Michael Jai White is a freaking G.
Except, okay, I can't. This is probably not good for his career, but it makes it really endearing to me. He's in that phase of his career where he's now just appearing in like random ass MMA or not like MMA, but like just like fighting movies, right? Like where everybody's got like a different combat style or whatever, and it's like these aren't good. You maybe made it for 5,000, but I think I like that more about it, right? Like
yeah. He's probably at the point where he's just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Why not? We all hope to get there, absolutely, like someday. I mean, it's easy if you are a Spider-Man writer. You can just do whatever the hell you want the minute you get on the book.
Or so we're led to believe.
Yeah, guys. So obviously on the docket tonight, we have the top 3 headliners. We have Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1. That'll probably be our big one for like in a second. Near the end of the show, we'll probably wrap with that one. That'll be the big boy. We've got Absolute Superman #8, which continues to be a great series. And we've got All New Venom #7. Those are the main things we are going to hit this show. That being said, Andrew, before we dive into this, before we say hi to everybody, do you have any comments on anything else you want to talk about this week? Like books from last week, books from this week? Whatever.
Man, I still haven't caught up on all my books from last week. Like I managed to read the 3 that we were going to cover last week, and that was it. And then this week, I only managed to read the 3 that we're covering. So I kid you, like here's my stack actually right here. These I still have to get through these. Yeah.
Wow, that's like that's almost half of the stack I have of yours, like in my closet.
I guess to be fair, one of these is a variant. It's the foil.
One of them. One of that stack, guys. The 0.030 picocentimeter difference it makes. It's not that hard on him, guys.
It's one less, right?
What variant was that? Was that Witchblade?
No, that was the so this is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
#1.
Oh man. You know who that is, right?
I don't actually.
It's Alien Man.
Oh gosh, it is.
I'm not even kidding. It's John Jiang or whatever his name is. For those of you guys who don't know, you can go look him up. You can go check out that cover. Andrew and I always make fun of him because I caught his art last year at his booth at San Diego Comic-Con, and he had prints and stuff up, and he does this really, really over computer CGI style thing. It's really weird. And I remember taking a photo and sending it to Andrew because the way he did Spider-Man was just like a big alien gray. And we were, and I went through the booth and I was like, there's 4 different prints and they're all aliens. And we were both like, what the hell? And then after that day, like they started announcing like, oh, here's a variant cover from him. And I'm like, where does this come from? But I would have picked that up if not for him. It's not that it's bad. I don't really like Alien Man style. I think it works because that's Ghidorah on the front, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's monster.
His Ghidorah looks pretty great. But
monsters, if I look fine.
Yeah, if I'm looking closely at like Wonder Woman's face, I'm like, interesting.
There it is. Yeah.
and if I'm looking at Hal's face and the side of Clark's face, I'm like, there's that uncanny valley thing kind of going on where he's trying to put too many like realistic indents on the face and things like that from their expressions. And it's like that's not as much comic booky art to me. But it was shiny foil and had King Ghidorah on it, so I bought it.
I bought the Dice
Dan Mora cover is coming in through Midtown is where that one's coming from.
He's not doing a connecting one this time, is he? It's just like the singles for each of them, because that was pretty cool last time.
I don't think it's a connecting one, but the way that he did this cover makes it look like it's a connecting one.
So who knows?
Maybe they'll do a connecting.
I want to see. Somebody make a really cool way for us to display a bunch of like comic books on the wall. We need like you know how jukeboxes like can like auto rotate the CDs or whatever? We need that for like our comics, but in a way that you won't bend them when they like come around the turn.
Yeah. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I would be super into that. I think all I really have to add to what I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I read our books for last week. The emergencies happened. Didn't have time to get to that. Got our 3 books out of the way this week. The only other book I read was Imperial because, we were talking about it. That's literally the only reason.
You read that book because I asked you if it was going to be worth picking up.
No, but I even went like further. You're like, let me know after it releases. And I was like, it comes out at midnight tonight. I can let you know before you even go to the shop, like if it's good or not. So like I did my homework that day, but we'll get to that. But I figured I just realized as I was like mid-sentence talking about Imperial that it's probably a better flow to say hi to everybody and then get into comic books than do like one book, go into everybody. So with that, everybody, let's say hi to all of you beautiful people who have showed up so far. I've missed a couple of them because, there's the weird gap between our stuff or between the comment program we use and YouTube. But we see Clone Geek, absolutely. We see Zero, you are here. Yeah, guys, quick note. Zero says audio good. Clone Geek says echo Andrew. You would, if you go back and listen for the first probably like 20 seconds, Andrew sounds doubling up on a fishbowl. That was on my end, completely fixed. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you what it was later. But no worries. No, we're all good now. Obviously, nobody else is complaining, but we got you guys. And also, what's up, Clone Geek? What's up, Zero? Clone, I know, or I see your comment about JSA this week being the best issue of the JSA run so far. Low bar? Okay, that sounds really mean. Let me restart that. I hear you, and that makes me... What?
I'm glad he's enjoying it, but no.
It
is a low bar because that book was trash. I'm sorry.
No. I wasn't going to change the low bar. It just, the way I said it made it sound like I was like judging Clone Geek, and I was like, no, okay, hold on. Not Clone Geek, if you like it, that's good.
He does us for liking all new Venom, so I don't give a damn.
Actually, you know what? Yeah.
And that's an actually good book.
Put him in the stocks, all right? Punk, Zero, you guys can throw tomatoes at him all show. That's right. I see you now. We have Punk in the house. What's going on? He says he picked up Daredevil 22, Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, the Chat Zudi. I'll learn it someday. Chat Zoidus, cover of Vampirilla 2. Daredevil, so I'm not caught up with current Daredevil, but that Daredevil Cold Day in Hell series is actually kind of intriguing. I as with most things these days, I want to like it, but I'm also like, there's not it's like Charles Soule or something. And so I'm like, let's see where this goes, because you haven't been like on top of your game lately. But if you don't, I don't think you know this series, Andrew, because you're not like a big Daredevil person in general, but it's a sort of a future AU, what did they used to call him for Marvel? Well, they didn't really have, you guys know what I mean. So it's just like a future in Manhattan where everybody is like depowered or whatever. And Matt Murdock lost his powers, so now he's just a priest in Hell's Kitchen. But then at like 80 years old, they come back. And so he's like, oh, I have to go, take back Hell's Kitchen, kind of. Mm-hmm. Might be cool. We'll see. But yeah, we're 2 issues in. I read the first one and I was like, all right, like not bad. I didn't hate my time with it. So yeah, that's where Daredevil is. It's a pretty good series so far, Punk. I'm glad. Let me know how you're enjoying issue 2. Clone Geek says Michael B. Jordan would probably end up directing. I don't know, but here's the thing. Does Eric direct the Isa movie, or do you get the guys who did the live action Yaira commercial? I don't know. We've got people in line. Who would do it, Andrew? If you guys right now we're announcing a movie.
Eric would for sure be, so he wouldn't be necessarily director of photography. He would have somebody that does that, like that's their profession.
Yeah.
Right. But he would certainly be giving them ideas and things like that. And he'd be the guy where it's like, this is what I'm seeing. And then the director of photography would translate that into making it work on cinema.
The like George Lucas-y style that we all see in like the
George
photos,
Lucas,
right? He's
for
like
episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Pretty much that.
I would watch it. I would love to see Eric go and do like Hollywood promo. I think that would be, it would not that he'd be bad or it would go wrong, just to see Eric like talking to Entertainment Weekly or whatever, like Isom #1. I would just crack up from the.
It would be hilarious
juxtaposition.
because he wouldn't be talking in the way that like most of the Hollywood people you would expect. They're always being like super careful and because they have like publicists and things like that. Or Eric's just gonna say what Eric's gonna say,
which is gonna be so funny. I can't wait. I know it's coming. We'll have.
It would be simultaneously hilarious and refreshing because you know that just what's coming out his mouth is just like it's just raw. It's just what he actually thinks about it, right?
Like, oh, okay, he actually is writing this comic. He's not trying to use it to pitch a TV show or something weird like that.
Yeah.
No, it would be awesome. And the question is, does he suit up or does he wear his like backwards and his like hat and everything? Like, it's probably the latter.
I could see him actually wearing a suit for probably the second time in his life. Well, third, because he's been in one of his friends' weddings before.
Yeah.
But not just one of his friends' weddings, his wedding, and then this premiere. But he would probably rock either the RIPPAVERSE, the Isom, or the backwards ball cap is what he would do.
Yes. Okay, he's got to do the Isom one though, because remember when they used to do that in like the 90s and 2000s, all the directors or whatever, like they'd get the hat with their movie logo. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah, I remember seeing featurettes and things like that of Spielberg with a Jurassic Park ball cap on and things like that.
The one I always remember is James Cameron, because he had one of the Avatar ones, like in the very bad like Sanskrit font that comes on all like Windows computers or whatever, and it makes me laugh every time because your Avatar, you could have gotten better fonts than that.
Yes, you could have.
Clone says, I love the fact that Marvel is also having a Godzilla crossover. Have you read it? So for those of you who don't know, that is true. Marvel is also doing their big crossover thing. They have done a series of one-shots that is Godzilla versus XYZ, Spider-Man, Hulk, X-Men, Avengers, your big pillars. And now
Fantastic Four, yeah.
Oh yeah, Fantastic Four was the other one. And now they're launching into Godzilla
destroys
versus
the Marvel universe.
Yeah. So I first of all, I didn't know. I thought that was only going to be a one shot. I didn't know that was going to be a series, and that kind of like
I didn't know it was going to be a mini. I thought it was going to be a one shot.
Yeah,
as well.
I thought it was just like one shot, close out with a one shot, throw it into a trade, boom.
Yeah,
have you checked out any of them?
I have not checked it out yet. No, because I immediately went to Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong #2, which is the follow up to the first one, which I absolutely adored, and I've got the deluxe hardcover on my bottom shelf where it's not within reach right now. But it was
time,
a fantastic.
Guys, mark that, clip that. This is the first time Andrew hasn't had it like at the ready.
Wow.
See, look at that. So I'll even close out my shit talking before he pulls it back
Challenge
up.
Accepted.
Wow, what a bad host. Fake fan.
Challenge accepted, jackass. There it is. But yeah, this thing was an absolute blast.
I loved that book. It was so fun.
It was fun and stupid. That's all it needed to be. That's all I expected out of it, and that's all I wanted out of it. I didn't want it to pretend to be more than it needed to be.
No, I saw so many people like losing their mind over like, why is Kong getting a lantern ring? And I'm like, because it's fun. Like,
because it looks cool.
Because it's so
cool.
Because it's so stupidly cool. Why are you complaining about this? We should want more of this. Oh man, what? Okay, so you know that they've had like Planet of the Apes comics or whatever, and they've crossed over with DC, yada yada yada. Give me the, what is it called? I guess the Monsterverse. Yeah, Monsterverse, Monsterverse X Green Lantern, and then let all like Shimo and then the King or whatever, like they get rings, right? Like the Red Lantern ring. I want that shit. I don't even care if it's just like two things put together. Like sometimes we talked about this last week with DC versus Sonic. Sometimes, especially with like your first outing in a crossover, that's really all you should be delivering. It is a good bit of fan service to both sides. You don't need to make, DC Sonic a big exploration of everybody's character because
no, it's not. Nobody's reading that book for that.
No, you could maybe, if you do sequels or something, you could focus on one or two characters. I could see the inevitable second DC Sonic doing a heavy focus on Shadow, right? And like connecting him with Batman more, yada yada. But I don't need any of these crossovers to be like Kingdom Come or whatever. They don't need to define everything. I'm super happy just seeing Godzilla, get punched with a giant green fist. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But yeah, I've checked out most of the Godzilla Marvel ones they've released so far. I have the foil variants for all of them. As Andrew can tell you, that was one of the more harrowing ordeals because that was one of the things that got hit when Tifa went down, Things from Another World, and we had to like scramble for those.
Yeah.
The books that were already past the cutoff, you and I had to scramble for. So that was part of that. It was crazy. They've been fun. They've been fun. I really liked the Spider-Man one, but I think I might have talked about this on either a solo foil variant or on my show, Good Mab Ugly, but it's a really fun issue that sort of throws Peter back into the black suit era, sees the, Goji get overtaken by the symbiote, but it's full of these little bits where Nick Spencer, the Spider editor, he tries to be funny in. So
you mean Nick Lowe?
Oh yeah, Nick Lowe. Sorry, yeah, no, Nick Spencer. You're fine. you have retroactively become okay. You're fine by our books.
You somehow you just got elevated.
Literally, all he had to do was say, "I was trying to get MJ and Peter back together," and we went, "All right, Hall of Fame, we're good here." But so remember in old comic books, they still sort of do it now, but if Thor's hanging out with the Avengers and Cap says, "We have to go." And he goes, "I'll catch up. I just got a call from, Odin." And then it says like editor's note. What is Thor talking about? Check out Thor number 37 or whatever. Or Pete would show up.
They used to do that in comics all the time. They don't do it as often nowadays. And I kind of miss it.
It really bugs
I miss
me.
I miss it in certain contexts. So if I'm reading a more lighthearted superhero, like classic superhero book, I want that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want that in there. I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the package deal. If it's a more serious, darker tone book, you don't need to have it in there. I'm okay.
I want it more for like just if there's something like deep lore, right? Like for example, if again, like Ben Reilly comes back tomorrow and they talk about like, oh, the time, I gave you the suit and then I retired. Nobody would remember that. I just want them to go, ding, as seen in a Spectacular Spider-Man, whatever. Because I do that thing now, Andrew, where I go, what the hell is that name? Well, time to go on the Marvel Wiki and see what the hell this is like doing around here. And then that just,
for real.
it's so bad. But okay. Addendum to what I'm about to say, because Clone Geek is pointing out that Nick Lowe actually didn't write the comments. According to Joe Kelly's newsletter, he wrote it. Either way, the book is filled with these overly cheeky editor's notes that start like, at first it's, oh, what, like Peter has a black suit from Secret Wars, go check it out. And then it starts getting way more over the top and he's like trying to be funny with it. Like, oh, this happened in the Super Fantabulous crossover that never happened coming out now. And it's just like, stop, it's not funny. It's trying too hard. So, but it is drawn by Nick Bradshaw, who I think is just one of the most fun
artists. Did a really good job.
Yeah. So
he did a really good job.
I'm looking forward to, I guess, the event that destroys the Marvel Universe. I've got the foil coming. We'll see if I pick up all 5, but it's a good time to be a Godzilla fan. Oh man, there's a really cool cover that I should show you. I don't know if I did, for one of the Godzilla Marvel Universe books where it's Mecha Godzilla possessed by the spirit of vengeance. So he's a ghost. It's just like Mecha Godzilla, Ghidorah's like, skeleton that makes up the bottom on fire. And I'm like, I pre-ordered it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be rad. So you can
I
either
forget,
look it up, I'll
has
pick it
issue
up.
1 of that many already shipped?
I think it ships like this month. I think either like next week or maybe the week after that. We're right on the cusp of it.
Might as well add it to my
Might as well, right?
I added a bunch of variants from the Emma mini today to my Midtown.
You are gonna go
order.
So broke, dude. Like I feel bad. I like Emma.
There's
but,
not a ton,
woo!
at least. Okay, so not a ton that are available through Midtown. If all of a sudden, like, other artists that I really like, Stanley Lau, Art Germ, and Campbell, and other guys that I really like their work, if they all of a sudden start offering ones through like their online shops,
Oh
then yeah,
yeah.
I might go broke.
Well, we already saw the Campbell announced the latest of his Rivals covers, and it's Rivals Emma. So
Yep.
like
Need that.
Saturday, I will plant my ass in my seat and get like I will make sure we get that for you. You didn't get a Switch 2 code or like invite. I'm gonna get you that cover. That war
True.
crime, absolute
Very
war
sad.
crime, so bad. But also, congrats to everybody who got it. We were talking over the week, and as you guys know, Andrew hosts a community night where he plays games with everybody in his community. And I was like, oh man, like, or he's like, oh man, if I don't get it, community night's gonna be like delayed. And I'm like, not everybody's gonna get it. I don't even think I've heard of one of the guys like pre-ordering it.
And so far, everybody
every single one last night was like, got it. And I was like, oh, my bad.
I'm gonna be the last schmuck to get it. And yeah, supposedly some retailers are gonna be getting some more either late tonight or early tomorrow morning added to their online stores. So
Oh man,
I'll probably be up late refreshing pages and looking for
it's
that.
better than going and waiting in line, man. Like I
refuse to do that.
I saw
my
photos
days
of that
doing that are
happening.
behind
Yeah,
me.
exactly. I saw photos and I'm just like, absolutely not. Like, I will go buy a NES and just play that rather than sit in a Best Buy parking lot for 18 hours in a lawn chair. No, we're
Yeah, like
we're adults.
I'm not a teenager. Like I'm not doing that anymore. Sorry.
We
I
have
did that
things
for
to
the
do.
Wii. I had an excuse with the Switch because I worked that launch. So I purchased mine before I opened the
Doesn't
doors for
count,
everybody
yeah.
else. And so yeah, I'm not waiting in line with no 200
way.
people.
No
Sorry,
way.
don't care. Love y'all gaming community, but I ain't doing that. I got other things
We are
to do,
playing
other
Switch
places
1
to
this
be.
week. That's just what is going to happen. Punk says purchased a Saturday matinee ticket for the new John Wick movie, Ballerina.
Mhm.
Are you checking that out? I know you're more
I want to,
prone
actually.
to movies. I want to see it too, but I know you're probably going to have a better chance of actually going and seeing it because you went and
If
saw
I
Mission
have the
Impossible and all
chance,
that.
I want to see it this weekend for sure.
I've
Because
actually
the
been hearing,
trailers looked really cool.
I've been hearing really good things about it. So John Wick has surprised me so much, dude, because they keep, every time they announce like a sequel or a spinoff, I go, they're marveling it. Stop. We all know how this goes. But every single one of them has been like great to like incredible at, great at worst, right? So I'm
Yeah,
just like,
I don't know how well the Continental did, like that limited series in terms
Yeah.
of like viewership, but I heard it was good.
yeah, I don't know viewership, but everybody I know was like, that was really cool. And I was like, the spinoff about the dude we see like 5 minutes in 4 movies. All right.
Mhm.
So I hope it's well. Punk is saying this is the first time that I'm going to a movie theater in a long time. There's not a
All
lot
right.
to want to go purchase or to go see. I don't even, what did I see? Oh, I saw the Hatsune Miku movie. Okay. I only see anime movies now. I don't watch any of this shit.
Nerd.
Nerd. It's fine. It's fine. It wasn't me, a 35-year-old man sitting in a crowd of like 20-year-old Tumblr weebs. Like it wasn't weird or
man.
anything at
It
all.
was exactly that.
I wasn't the one who wrote their sacred texts on which they, built their fandom. No, it's cool. You guys are keep rocking the fuzzy foxtail that we all decided in 2005 was not okay.
My gosh.
Let's see. And then finally we have Chuck Keyworth saying, you hosers, I see you hosers decided to grace us with your presence. Yeah, we had some things we had to take care of before the show. Not a boomer moment. We were here. We just were like, I gotta rap. And we rapped. And
we were
here.
both wrapping up work stuff.
So, yeah, with that, Clone Geek gave me first of all, Tehillim, shalom and good to see you. I can't believe I almost let you go. Yeah, so Clone Geek brings us up. So let's get into some comics. Clone Geek says there seems to be no hype around Imperial, and there's probably good reason for that. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, obviously, because Andrew didn't read it. I'm just going to give you guys a brief rundown and talk about what Clone Geek brings up here. So, Imperial, new crossover big event for Cosmic Marvel, just launched on Wednesday. Written by our man Jonathan Hickman, X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, one of the best we've got right now. Drawn by our boy Iban Govella. Like it's perfect. This is what we have been waiting for, right? It's
Give Iban more interiors, please.
he's the last guy that they give to good books. right? Like he was on Venom, or he was on this. Like what's his name that we always lament? Pepe. Pepe's on Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man. He's on Blood
He's
Hunt.
on freaking trash ass Amazing
So, like,
Spider-Man right now.
Thank God somebody recognizes our boy. It should be given his due. So, yeah, Imperial is weird because it is very cosmic Marvel centered, and if you don't know cosmic Marvel or that,
care.
yeah, or care about any of that stuff, it's going to be a really, really hard sell. So basically what the plot of this book is that the overall, universes, all the empires, the Skrulls, the Spartaks, the Kree, yada, 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 the Inhumans, they're all getting together to sort of form a new like UN of space and make a bunch of treaties that'll open up travel and all this. And while they're assembling, 4 of the like, what do you call them? Like leaders, kings, they die. They get poisoned. And one of them happens to be Hulk's son, Scar. So they go up to Sakaar. They see what's going on. See, like, this is where Ebon, like, you're so cool. Like, this is such an awesome shot. He's so cool. But yeah, so it is really a big sort of whodunit. So one of the victims is Hulk's son. Another victim is Peter Quill's sister, who is the current emperor, was the current emperor of Spartax. Now his dad's back in control. I've never really liked the... So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, 2 of them are dead. 1 Scar, 1 is Peter Quill's sister. There are 2 more. Everybody goes, okay, we got to solve this. What's going on? Peter goes and gets the help of Nova, who is still, like, this bugs me, Andrew. This is where I get hung up on this, because he says that he's one of 2 Novas left in the universe. But I don't know, like, is he talking about Sam? Like
He's talking about the little kid?
Because I don't remember like, I guess technically he's around, but I don't know the last time I've seen him, right? Like,
The last time I remember, and I didn't even read the book, but the last time I remember seeing anything about him was in what was it, Young Avengers, when
man, that's
they
way
went
back when.
against, yeah, it was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, right? Where Riri tries to 1v1 Thanos and gets absolutely put in her damn place, which is the only good
satisfying
contribution
moment.
that
Yeah.
Riri has ever had to the Marvel comic universe, getting her butt kicked by Thanos because she's that stupid and arrogant.
So dumb.
Like, how arrogant do you have to be
Which is
to
so
think you can 1v1 Thanos?
Which is really crazy because, yeah, well, like, quick Riri sidebar. When she's first introduced by Bendis in Invincible Iron Man or whatever, she's not insufferable. She's actually kind of like a standard teen hero in the sense that we first see her, like, police are knocking on her door, like, why is there so much power going into this dorm? And, you know, they come in and she's got her suit on and she's like, don't worry. Like, I think you don't need to suspend me. I think I know what's going to happen. And then she, like, blasts out of there. She immediately goes to stop a truck of, like, AIM agents or whatever. Like, they're cruising away. She lands on the hood, smashes it up, kind of like we see in the trailer. And immediately, like, the truck lands and she goes, hands up, out of the armor. And she's like, I know. I just, do you know Tony Stark? Like, how do I talk to him? And it's like, oh, she understands, like, where she is, what her role is at that point. But then it's the same thing we talk about with Miles, same thing we talk about with all of those Marvel Now characters. They went, oh, we can market you. And then it just went completely to hell. Then that's when we got, like, oh, you're the best, Riri. You're everything, Riri. You're blah, 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 blah. Bad times. Just absolute bad times all around. But, yeah, so I was like, is that who he's talking about? Which is really weird, because I did look it up, Andrew. I went to the wiki. Last time he made an appearance was in the Fallen Friend, when Kamala died in Spider-Man for like a week, and they made like that issue, that one shot of like everybody at her funeral.
It was like a year and a half ago,
and
2 years ago.
Yeah, and all it is he's like at the funeral. He doesn't even talk. He's just like there. So like I don't know what happened, because he was, remember, like him, Kamala, Miles, they were supposed to be like the new dream trio, and now Kamala's around, Miles is around, and he's just gone. So that took me by surprise. Also because, and I know you won't know, but readers out there, particularly probably Clone Geek, I could have sworn at some point in the last 10 years since he came back that he started a new Nova Corps. I could have sworn that happened. Like, he trains his brother. I don't know. It's weird, but that's aside the point. That's just a weird thing that stuck out to me as a Marvel dork. But yeah, so, you know, they go to investigate. They're trying to find out, you know, who has killed everybody, yada, 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 yada. And it turns out that the assassin is Wakandan. And you remember, like, they have the space empire now and everything. So Wakandan assassin, it is pretty stupid, but Wakandan assassin. And then everybody goes, okay, well, we got to go to war. Like, Wakanda declared war. Let's go.
For that.
I know, right? At least, what's his name? It's Hickman. He used that well in Aliens versus Avengers, right? Where it's like
but it's Hickman.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying.
As long as Hickman isn't full Hickman, he's an incredible writer. Right? It's like Grant Morrison. As long as you're not getting full Grant Morrison, as long as it's not going full synchro mode from Battle Network, right? Then, like, he's good. He's great. Right?
Soul,
you'll get some incredible work. Just don't let him go full Hickman.
Okay, last week, guys, I was talking to Andrew, and I brought up the Marvel Boy villain, like the Exterminatrix, who you guys might have seen. She was in Original Sin. She's a Marvel villain. She's basically like a dominatrix with a big long ponytail, almost like I forget her name, but one of the Furies from DC. And I sent that to him, and we were laughing. I don't even know why I brought it up. And then Andrew was like, "Who the hell like made that?" And I went, "God, it's gonna be so dumb." 5 minutes passed, and I go, "Look, man, like, it's just, you know, like, okay, man," because it was, boom, writer Grant Morrison. And Andrew was like, full Morrison. But
don't let Morrison go full Morrison.
Full Morrison, as much as I love that man, somebody rein him in. But so that is sort of the core of this book. At its base, it is a political intrigue, who done it, which it's Hickman. So the narrative here was actually like compelling to follow, in the sense of, if I like went to go see a movie that I new IP, right? Like, I'm sitting down, meeting everybody. It was like, okay, I'm kind of on board for the murder mystery of it all. If you don't really care about any of the main players, it's going to be really, really hard to honestly care about any of this. And the main players, as I recapped, you've got Hulk, you've got Peter Quill, you've got Nova, and then, as we know from past weeks of Foil Variant, we're going to have Xavier and Deathbird eventually join the fray.
That's right.
I've never been a Hulk guy. Admittedly, the Planet Hulk, Gladiator Hulk, to me, like, this is my favorite Hulk, because I always felt that was
Planet Hulk is a really good just story.
Yeah, like, that's
in general. Whether you like the Hulk or not, like, Planet Hulk is just really, and World War Hulk, like, those are just good books.
They're just really, really good books. And
I don't like the Hulk outside of, like, Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk movie. That's basically the extent of my enjoyment of the Hulk.
My enjoyment of the Hulk, like, pretty much extends to your boy Joe, right? Or our boys Ewing and Joe Bennett. Because
freaking Joe Bennett on Immortal Hulk, and he was the reason why that book was selling.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like, if it weren't for
he does that crazy, he could do that crazy detailed, like, body horror almost,
the shit, like, that really hits me
monstrous.
Like perfectly, that we talk about every week.
Right.
Like,
so
that's
of course you loved the crap out of that.
I was like, oh hell yeah, and that's why, like, oh man, you have Joe Bennett. Like, that actually is. I'm mad at you. I've told Andrew this, like, that you guys are only doing superheroes with him right now. Like, get him on a horror thing. Like, please, I'll buy 700 copies.
I'm not saying that Joe Bennett has ideas of other things that he's interested in also adding on to his already pretty heavy workload, but he just churns out pages like a machine anyway.
He's such a dedicated
he probably
pro.
has some ideas.
Oh, I'm sure if you opened up his sketchbook, it would be one of those moments where, like, the teacher has to call the counselor and the cops, right? Like, we're worried about you, Joe.
He's DM'd me just out of the blue some pieces, and I'm just like, bro,
is this illegal? Are these, like, am I in trouble right now?
right?
Like, do I need to report these to do I need to report these to Eric? Like, is it that serious? But yeah,
he's just so good.
So, you know, we get that Coliseum Hulk, and it, like, he looks cool. Jen looks cool. I know Amadeus Cho is another one of those ones that they originally, back before Marvel Now, he was actually really fun as a character. And then they went, oh, Asian Hulk, and he went completely off the rails. So I liked him back then, didn't like him once they promoted him. What you get from him here, and maybe this is because he isn't really around anymore and Marvel's not pushing him as hard, you get more of that old Cho. And he's supposed to be sort of the, not comic relief, but the levity. So, you know, Hickman, he's hitting it.
I don't hate his design.
Oh yeah, the design was never the problem.
He came out when we had that time of, you know, Marvel's going to be like, hey, we're going to push all these, like, the
non-white successor ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, you know, the all new, all different, the Marvel Now, that stuff. And it was like, you know, there was a time for many years where nobody had a freaking problem with you giving us like a gender swapped or a different version of a character
Not at all.
or was like at least slightly different, right? You know, to a degree. There are some exceptions where it's like, that's a dumb and unnecessary thing. But like for the most part, there are a lot of more or less derivative characters that we didn't have an issue with. It was when you were like, hey, these are the new guys, and we're just going to ignore all the original guys.
Then you're a bad person. And
yeah, and it was like, well, wait, what are you talking about? Like, I was supporting this stuff in the first place, but I was still, it was like they were tertiary to the actual guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want your guy to be the guy of that title, create a new guy.
It's not hard, guys.
Create a new character.
Like, it's right there.
Something.
They keep doing it. I might not be the biggest fan of the series overall, but what I love about My Hero Academia, in particular the manga, is that it is all original characters. Even the background characters are cool, and it's like Marvel, DC. It's not that hard. This dude just came out and made a universe of them. Like, feel bad about yourself right now.
Yeah, you're bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah, it's bad and you should feel bad. But
because they just clowned on you.
Yeah, they just shut you down so hard. But yeah, the overall book. Okay, the comparison I told Andrew was, if you guys remember back in 2008, Marvel did a big cosmic event called Annihilation, where where Annihilus ripped out of the negative zone and he was leading all of the hordes to just sort of devour the universe, kind of like the Fantastic Four movie version of Galactus, right? Like just a big old cloud of bugs eating everything. And so you got crossovers with the Super Skrull and the Silver Surfer and Ronan the Accuser and the Guardians at the time, and then Nova. And so I was telling Andrew, when I read that, I had no affinity for any cosmic Marvel. That was when I was getting back into comics as a teenager, actually like reading and checking things out. And just reading Annihilation, it's one of my favorite stories to this day. I highly recommend it to everybody. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the way they're depicted there, that's where they, drew inspiration for the movie, but before flanderizing and marvelizing them. But holy crap, guys, like that original team, it's such a good, like, go read that Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning run of Guardians. It is incredible.
Well, Dan Abnett's just like a solid writer.
If I see his name on something, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay. And if I see his name on something like that, a book that's been bad, I'm going to be like, okay, I know he's like, they brought him in to do triage. Like that.
Right.
He's like,
like start doing some freaking field medic stuff on this
cut
book.
Cut that
right?
out, stitch that up. Yeah. Like
he's going to be the combat medic, right? Like, shoot, he did Rebirth Titans, man.
Which you love. Like,
yeah, I mean that's
I
what
don't know why I said
Wally
that.
back.
I don't know why I said you love it. Like it's like a rare.
we.
Yeah, it's a we love it. It's one of the very few rare like Titans.
And it's not even just us. We're like in the majority there.
Yeah,
too.
that is true.
And look, Titans has never been the book at DC. It's never even been the team book at DC. But it's the premise for Titans during the DC Rebirth era was what they sold and based the DC Rebirth era on.
Yep.
Like they literally, that was the linchpin.
And it was good until...
It was really good for like the first 3 arcs.
And then they went, oh, we got to start, setting up heroes in crisis. And everything falls apart at that point. Because
And then I dropped the book immediately.
If you guys go back and read it, which, yeah, it's fun to read the first 3 arcs, but then that first immediate jump, you'll know it jumped, but you'll see the worst. I don't even want to call it a character assassination. They just throw out everything for Wally. And it's like such a 180 turn that you go, what? Like, this isn't Wally. It's, yeah, see, look at that. Look at that. What's the cover for the second volume? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the like mini arc that was the Lazarus contract, which
I liked
was
that.
I liked it, but it pissed me off as well because
yeah.
like what they did with, like, they made Wallace, like, they did not do any favors to Wallace, whom I already didn't like. And then they just like made me hate him even more. And then they made me hate Damien even more, which was annoying because Super Sons, conversely, was making me like Damien.
I know.
As was Rebirth Teen Titans, because that was actually a really good Teen Titans dynamic. And I appreciated that they did the thing where they had, Starfire as like a more like
mentor or like
mentor
the
role.
Teacher, yeah.
Yeah. And it always bothers me when they ignore the fact that some of these characters are like, this isn't their first rodeo. Like this, they were a founding member of one of the iterations of this team. Like,
well, that's why I get the association, but I really hate when both the like the original Titans, and then the new Teen Titans, like the ones from the cartoon, any of those members, if they're on a team, you have to really sell me. Cause like I roll my eyes cause I'm like, Corey would not be at 30 years into her superhero career acting like a Teen Titan. Like maybe as a teacher, like you said, and that works.
Yeah.
But like not as the team, not on the ground. It's weird. They want too much of their cakes and eating it too.
DC, I'm gonna help you fix the Titans book right now. Okay? I'm gonna help you fix the Titans book right now. You're gonna have to get an artist that does not mind drawing a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
But here it is. This is how you fix and get people back to this title. You put the characters on the roster that people were interested in the title to begin with. Give us Nightwing.
Who even is around right now? Like,
give us Arsenal. Give us Wally. Give me Garth.
Give me
Donna. Corey. Give me Raven. Give me Donna. I can live without Beast Boy, but people are fans of Beast Boy. I'm in the black sheep of that. And give me Victor.
Fine. Victor? Oh, Cyborg.
Vic.
Cyborg. Yeah. Vic. Victor.
Vic is a Titan.
Yeah.
Vic is a Titan. Give me Vic on that damn team. And I'll also give me freaking Lilith as well. Okay?
Oh yeah,
give me Omen.
Lilith.
Give me Omen.
Do you remember when there was that, I think it was New 52 or Rebirth, somewhere around this era, but there was a very, very brief moment where the team was like Damien, Blue Beetle, Supergirl, Static, and somebody else that I'm blanking. But it was like a really fun lineup, and I really it might have been John, I don't remember, but I was like, that was cool. And then they blew it up after like 5 issues to bring back, oh, here's Corey, here's Garth, here's Vic, and I'm like, I'm over it.
When was that?
It was. I'll have to look at, like, I don't have it off the top of my head. I can see the cover in my head. Clone Geek might know what I'm talking about, and he'll let us know.
Because I remember Kara and I remember Hobby being on there, but I don't remember.
It was, like I said, it was
the run itself.
Super brief. It was one of those things where it's like in the middle of another run, they did this, but it was sort of like a bait and switch type of thing almost. Like it was a big, Stephanie, that's who it was. Spoiler, she was the other one who was on the team. And I was like, these are cool.
Okay,
like,
I didn't read that. Where is everything? I don't remember her being there.
I know. And I was like, these are, and Miss Martian from Young Justice. Like they put her on, like they canonized her with it. And I was like, this is a good team.
Maybe I caught part of that because I do remember her being on it.
She was there briefly, and I was like,
I just don't remember Steph.
Again, super brief. I'll go look for it after. We'll talk. I'll go hit up my Pakistani guy. I'll show you what they had going on. But yeah,
that's pre-52.
It must be.
It has to be pre-52.
Okay, yeah. Clone's saying after Infinite Crisis, I think. Except it can't be because Damien, I know Damien's on the team. It's because there's a fun interaction between Kara and Damien because she's like, "You are 12. Why are you bossing us all around?" So I'll look it up, Clone Geek. I will let everybody know on next week's show. But yeah, you don't want me to sit here and just go rifle through my files. Not going to be fun.
We have 3 books to get to.
So yeah, so wrapping up Imperial. It gives me a lot of the same vibes as Annihilation in the sense of like it's going to be a really big epic story just on its base. It's really, really hard to get into because I do not care about any of the. I care about Nova. I like Nova a lot, easily a top like 5 Marvel character, but
he's actually really the only cosmic Marvel character I give much of a crap about. Like Adam Warlock's cool.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
But I'm a Richard Rider guy.
Yeah, like Richard
I don't
Rider,
give that much of a crap about cosmic Marvel, but Richard Rider's my guy.
Ever since in Annihilation, when he like runs his hand down Annihilus's throat and rips out all of his guts, and that's how he ends the best like 2-page spread of all time. That made me go, favorite character right there. I'm not going to shut up about this ever. So like I like Nova. Don't really care about Hulk. I mean, I like seeing this version of him, but I don't care about his story that's going on. And I especially don't give a shit about post MCU Peter Quill. The second they started trying to make him all dumb and Chris Pratty, all of these stories are bad. We haven't had a good Guardians book since before the MCU. It's like you're really care about these characters. You're really pushing it. It's almost like, and this, okay, here's a good connection point. Almost like Thunderbolts before we saw it, right? Where we're like, okay, I like John and Yelena, but I don't give a shit about Ghost. I don't give a shit about Red Guardian. I don't like why are we making this movie? But then by the grace of the screenwriter and everything, like we learned to like them. Right now, we haven't gotten to that point yet. Yes, it's a comic book, so it'll take a little longer, but I don't even have my Florence Pugh here to be like, okay, I'll sit for like 5 hours. So the lack of hype, Clone Geek, is not surprising. It's going to take a while to cook if it pops off. And then even when Annihilation was coming out, that was so amazing. Everybody loved it. It still didn't get wider hype. I mean, because of folks like Andrew. Not that it's bad, but Cosmic Marvel has long fallen out of favor since the 70s, 60s, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'll keep letting you guys know what's going on. Andrew, though, before we jump off this, I think you'll really like this. Where is our zoom in? So, when Hulk goes back to Scar, and thank you, Clone Geek. It wasn't Scar who died; it was his other kid, whose name I always forget. But when he goes back, he finds the world is in like chaos. There's all these like everybody's fighting for the throne, yada yada. And so Hulk's like, what are we doing here? And then, this big dude is like, I'm going to be like the guy. You're not the king anymore. You're a loser. And his Hulk's little guy is like, how dare you speak to the king? Gets sliced in half, Ebon style. And then the guy goes, do you have any any words, king? And he goes, no words. And just rockets his ass like out of the city. And then the guy's like, and then he just fucking wham, just like jumps on his back to the point where the guy's like, mercy. And then, do you have any words for me? Mercy. Wrong planet, friend. This is the Hulk, right? Like, I like this Hulk so much. This is the World War Hulk, where he's in control of his powers, of Hulk, knows his sort of place in the world, knows that, everybody on Earth hates me. I have a world here that is more fit to it. In a realistic world, guys, if we were doing a full no retcons, everything keeps naturally evolving in the Marvel universe, this would be where Hulk would go at some point, and he would just be a space thing now. So yeah, I really like this Hulk. I just wanted to show you that because it's our boy Ebon. I'll send you the higher files later. But yeah, don't even worry about it, guys. It's in a weird place. It is a very odd book. But that aside, we do have real books that we both read, and hopefully won't get us down 700 rabbit holes. What do you want to start with this week, Andrew?
You know what? Let's do some DC first. Let's knock out Absolute Superman, because I was so happy to see not only an art return, but
Yeah.
also a return to actually progressing the story and the A plot forward. I was like, yes,
Yeah,
please,
we
thank
move
you.
we finally move forward. We get some really good moments, and then we also there are some moments in here, Andrew, where I went, "Oh fuck, you're going full Jason Aaron." Like the bad Jason Aaron's coming out. And it's not
Oh, but yeah,
events, but it's a dialogue. And
yeah.
you probably know exactly around where I'm talking about. But I went,
Mhm.
oh God, oh no, somebody go get Kelly Thompson to wrangle this man in. Like this is not
The
okay,
fact
Jason.
the fact that we have hold on. This is
I
2025,
know.
ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're at. We're having to say, somebody please tell Kelly Thompson to rein her mans in, and or say, somebody please convince Gail to save
Oh my
the
God.
X-Men title line.
Not even
Can
convinced.
we just take a moment and appreciate the absolute absurdity of those words that just left my lips? Because I recognize, as someone who's been reading comic books for a very, very, very long time, how absurd those words are.
I want you to think this. You want to make it more absurd. Think about these are two of our three favorite books. Okay, three favorite books. One of them, Spider-Man. We were always going to love it. If it's a good Spider-Man book, doesn't matter. You and I are going to be there.
Yeah.
Our other two fucking top books for most of Foil Variant's run has been a Kelly Thompson book and a Gail Simone book. That is absolutely bonkers.
This is what makes this even more retarded, because up until Ultimate Spider-Man, and you can confirm this, you can attest to this.
Yep.
I wasn't a Hickman guy.
No,
because I didn't actually. There were a lot of people that were like, yeah, after things started to like change within the Hoxpox era, like that's when they fell off, and weren't a fan of that. Like, no, I thought Hoxpox was overrated from jump. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the idea to begin with. I wasn't on board. Maybe at some point, if I ever find free time that I don't want to spend doing literally anything else, including walking my freaking hamster that died when I was 8. Like, maybe I'll go back
now.
and
he just floats. You can
right.
He'll go back.
Maybe I'll go back and reread Hoxpox. And for those of you who don't understand the vernacular, House of X and Powers of X, like maybe I'll check that out and see now with a different lens, see if I appreciate it more, or at least see kind of what he was trying to do. Maybe my opinion will change. I'm fully willing to admit that that's possible. However, up until Ultimate Spider-Man #1, I was not a Jonathan Hickman guy.
I was the one who had to like drag you in. You were like, I don't know about Ultimate. Who can? And I'm like, Hickman's great. And you're like, but he did that. And I'm like, I know. But remember Avengers? Remember Fantastic Four? And you're like, I didn't read those runs. And I'm like, I'm going to scream. Please just trust me here. Like, it's good. Please, Andrew.
It's true.
So I actually have gone back to Hoxpox like in the last few months, just from writing articles about various things and grabbing pictures. You get stuck there. You know that, right? Like, oh, let me go look at something. Well, I've just read that entire run.
End up rereading the whole freaking run.
Yeah. So
I've done that.
Hoxpox is actually, and putting my fanboying aside, if you ignore the sort of where the overall internet culture that rose around like Krakoa when Hickman left, where everybody's so perfect and babies and like ooh so sweet, like why would you hate the mutants, ooh. Honestly, like Hoxpox is actually really good and it sets up a lot of good stuff, but it's everything that like drags it down later. It's for example, one of my favorite things is when you'll remember, like when first issue the Fantastic Four are chasing Sabretooth. And they stop him and they're like, all right, we're going to bring him in. And Cyclops appears out of a gate and goes, well, he's a mutant. We're going to take him. And they have this like sort of tense thing where it's like, excuse me, like he's an American criminal. And he's like, but he's a mutant where he's going to do mutant justice. And then, standoff and Cyclops goes, all right, no worries. Okay, well, let's be easy. Let's be friends here. I'm still on your side. You can have Sabretooth. Not a problem. And as he's walking away, Sue is like, do you really think this is a good idea? Like isolating yourselves, telling everybody that you're now going to like strike first. And he's like, we've spent so much time doing the, good Scott speech, standard speech. But then he closes it out with, oh, and Mrs. Richards, tell Franklin he has a home when he's ready for it. And it's like, fuck, like from Scott, like, dude, like, it's
see,
so
that's one of those moments
right?
where like you have them, because Scott's an interesting character to me. He's actually a really multi-layered character. And um,
Mike.
what's up, my brother? I hope you're doing well, buddy. I gotta shoot you a text later.
I've been laughing about elevated horror since we talked about it the other stream, Mike. Like it's
that's
so
my favorite.
because
That is my
I
favorite
hate
thing
it too,
to give
and
him
like
grief with.
and now that I know somebody else gets annoyed by it, oh yeah, Mike, buckle up.
Yeah, I love the guy to pieces, but I can appreciate how Scott started out as one of those more kind of Boy Scout-ish, types,
Yeah.
right? He wasn't necessarily Clark, but he was closer to Clark than he was a lot of other characters. And over time, he kind of evolved, and that doesn't necessarily mean I always agree with how he evolved, but he still evolved as a character. And
Yeah.
the events that happen around you and things that happen to you in your life, they help shape you for good or for bad,
Right.
right? It goes both ways. And Scott wound up elevate these nuts.
By
There it is.
A24 this September, I know.
Oh man, this guy. But it's cool. And there are a lot of things that like piss me off about Scott. Like the whole thing
course.
where there was that period of like 10 years, right? Where he was like going back and forth where it's like, oh, well, he thought that Madeline Pryor was Jean, but then
Oh.
as soon as like he actually saw Jean, like he just ditched her so freaking
I
fast. It's
reread
like,
that issue like a little bit ago for not just that single issue where Jean
Yeah.
comes back. It is so like as a kid you go, oh my gosh, of course, like Scott, like this is hard, but go read it as an adult, guys, with like the adult perspective of real heartbreak. That shit is
Yeah.
disgustingly brutal. Like Scott is
yeah,
oh my god.
he's
like,
a dirtbag there.
I am like full team Maddie after that. Like go Inferno.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like it is bad.
Right? It's like, how am I supposed to feel bad, right?
He straight up tells her, guys, like, oh, I thought she was dead and you were the replacement. Now that she's here, I'm going, like, no trying to like blunt it, no even like feigning that he cared about Maddie. It was just, oh, bye. It's bad.
It's messed up, like seriously messed up. And then, there was the whole bit like where he was with Emma, but still thinking about Jean and then going back and forth there. It's like, man, you were just bad with this aspect of your life, like
Yeah,
really bad at this.
really, you're like self-sabotagingly bad at this. Like you
Yeah.
have the Phoenix and then you go for, yeah, arguably the only other competition, but you have Phoenix, right? Like,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
exactly. And I'm glad that at least with regards to that facet of his life, he's
Yeah.
moved past that.
Yeah.
Like it took a while, but they fixed him there. I really like the Scott when he's written well. I like the Scott that we have now, where he's this interesting and very organic, I think, mix of having come from two different schools of thought.
Yeah.
So for so much of his life, he was raised by Xavier, right? And so it was this very, peace first, mentality, though still protecting others, protecting those who hate you. And that's that's a positive thing because it's easy to save the people and defend the people who, you already like or who are already like
Right,
you.
yeah.
It's a different matter to, save the people and protect the people who don't like you, right? That's a whole other matter. That actually says a lot more about your character than just you protecting your own. Of course, everybody's going to protect their family. Everybody's going to protect their loved ones. Everybody's going to try and protect their friends, right? Even just their associates, right? That's easy. That's the easy decision to make. But you make that without blinking, unless you're a completely selfish prat. However, to put your life on the line for people who not only you don't actually care much for, but who actively do not like you, that is far more of a mark of a hero, right? Being willing to lay down your life for people who hate you. That is the mark of a hero. But I do love where Scott's at right now, where we have him in this place where he is combining the kind of altruism of Xavier with the pragmaticism, I never say that word right, of Magneto, right? As well as to a kind of an in-between degree, Emma, because she's kind of she grows to be somewhere in between the two. over her own character development. And so it's really interesting. It leaves Scott in a really interesting and organic and dynamic place. And so you're able to get these moments of him making speeches like that and just kind of like putting it on the table and you're like, "Oh shoot. Okay, he's not playing around right now." And so you have a Scott that can pivot and be multiple things at once. He can be the raised by Xavier Scott and be very soft and very compassionate. But he can also now flip that switch and go into the mode of, all right, no, we're not playing. I'm gonna put it right here on the table, and I guarantee yours isn't as big. And I
We have not
genuinely
seen him.
appreciate
We
that
have not
about
seen
him.
that guy since that issue, by the way. That agent.
Yeah,
He,
no, we haven't. No, and I
I
think it's
don't blame
because
him.
Scott scared him off.
Yeah, that's what I was
Scott
gonna say.
scared him
I
off
wouldn't want to show
because
my face back there after
don't
that. Like,
don't play with me. Do not mess around with me. And you and I, we before we dropped the book, you and I
yeah,
were like pretty consistent about like when Mid K would write Scott in those moments of like giving him like,
yeah.
oh
Like,
shoot. Like we would praise
oh,
him for it.
woo.
And 9 times out of 10, that was like the only worthwhile thing about that issue.
Yeah, it's Scott and then the Stegman art. And then when Stegman went, yeah, Netho's great, but he's not Stegman. And it's one of those cases where like obviously they picked Netho because it's close to Stegman, but it's not Stegman.
He has a very
so you're
similar
like,
style for sure.
It's like Uncanny Valley almost about
Yeah.
like art styles.
And that's not a knock to him.
No,
It
not
just
at
it
all.
does feel like Marvel was trying to it probably would have been better for them to just pick another really good artist, which Netho is, but who
Right.
had a style that was much different from Stegman's, because you can't help yourself if you pay attention to comic book art that you're like,
Yeah.
it just kind of feels like they gave us Stegman light, and that's
Yes,
not
yes,
what
yeah,
Netho
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
is. It's a disservice to him
Yeah.
because he's a really good artist, but
I
it's
like that.
because they put him as like following up on Stegman, and his style is similar enough to where it feels like it's Stegman light, right? And you could forgive somebody for thinking that, even though
we've done it. We've been like,
Yeah,
wait a second, is that
absolutely.
Stegman? And we're like, oh, hold on. Oh, wow, that's Netho. And we're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know what they should have done? Remember that really bad artist they had on, or I guess they're not bad. They just really don't fit for us or the book. The Uncanny filler guy who did the mall arc.
I really did not like the
It was
artist.
bad, but like
It was not for me. It was definitely not for me.
there. Put Netho on that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the good. That's what Andrew's talking about. That good 1-2 where you go, okay, this is a different artist. I don't have to sort of pretend that my girlfriend who it's like my girlfriend who lives in Canada situation, and it's like I don't have to pretend that anymore. We can just pretend, or I can just go, okay, it's Netho's turn, and so on and so forth. But well, let's see. Do you see Clone Geek's question? Do you want to answer that here, even though it's not technically foil variant-y, but this is our damn show?
The Tom Felton
Yeah.
playing Draco in the Cursed Child play. I'd seen some posts about that. I haven't looked into it to see if it's actually genuinely confirmed.
Oh,
If that's
no, it is.
actually
Yes,
a thing.
yes.
Okay, so if that's actually a thing, that's kind of cool. Mainly because I think Tom Felton is a cool guy.
Remember
He's
when he
got
was in
quite the
Flash?
story.
That was so cool. Like
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Dude, he played freaking Alchemist, Mr. Alchemist.
Yeah, and I was like,
right?
he was cool. That was cool. And
Dr. Alchemy.
what was he? He was in a Jurassic Park, wasn't he? Like World, like the first one, right? Like the Chris Pratt one. Isn't he in that? Felton's in one of the Jurassic. He's like the guy who fucks with the raptors in the cage, who like brings the girls in or whatever, and he's like, hey, look at this, and he's the reason they get out. I know, Clone Geek. I know you know what I'm talking about. Blow his mind in a second, but
I don't actually remember that. And I've watched the Jurassic World trilogy a million times.
He puts on his American accent and he doesn't look like him. It's really hard. The only reason I know is because sitting there taking screenshots, I went, wait a second, like that. He looks really. There's no way that's. Holy shit, that's him. So yeah, he's in one of them. I'll show it.
Okay.
I'll have a lot to. You have a reading list after this show.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, long story short, I guess to quickly wrap that up before we go on, I think that's cool. Cursed Child is a reviled piece of Harry Potter mythos, and most of us, and when I say most, I mean like 98% of us, do not consider it canon. Because it breaks like all of the rules. It just throws out like so much from the books
And we're
where you're
not even
just kind of
talking
like,
just like the Hermione casting thing, right? Like we're talking like
yeah,
actual
no,
things.
that's not even counting that, right? So it's like literally everything else, and then you add that on top of it, and you're just like, get this thing out of my face, please. But him being involved with something Harry Potter is very cool. That itself is cool. I personally think it would be really, really kind of sweet irony and kind of evolution if he wound up playing Lucius Malfoy in the HBO Max TV series that they're working on now. So the father to Draco,
Yeah.
whom he played in the original movies. I think that would be really cool, but I could see why they wouldn't cast him just because Lucius is he's not a big guy, but he does look more like your traditional like medium build adult male, whereas Tom Felton kind of has more my build or Spencer's build, where
Yeah.
actually you're 6'2" or something like that. You're tall.
6'3".
Okay, you're 6'3". Yeah, you got 4 inches on me in height. So, but relative build in terms of kind of like lanky, a little more slim, right? He's not a big guy. So him playing Lucius, I could see them not picking him, but I think it'd be cool.
Okay. So here's a photo of him. Maybe it's not Jurassic Park. Is it I'll get back to you guys. I see it in my head. He's like I think it's Planet of the Apes. I think it's Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yes, he is in Planet of the Apes.
That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is.
One of those.
That is what it is. Yes, okay. That is, I completely went dinosaur to monk. Godzilla versus Kong, foil variant edition. But, yeah, he looks great. I mean, I just like Tom Felton in general.
Yeah, I think he's a cool guy.
Let's see.
All right.
Yeah. Clone Geek. Yep. Planet of the Apes. We landed on it. Unless you're asking, and then that's they did those 3 Planet of the Apes movies back in the mid 2000s. He's in, I think, the first one of that, or one of them, but he's around there. But
yeah,
apes and Harry Potter aside, that's not what we're here to talk about mainly tonight, guys. We're here to talk about comic books, and on the subject of filler artists and everybody coming back. Yes, as Andrew set us up a second ago, we are back with Absolute Superman. We are done with the flashback arc that we have been doing, which was, if you guys remember, it was half flashback to Clark's time as on Smallville, and then to the like destruction of Krypton and all of that stuff happening. Definitely things we needed to see. Definitely, good writing and everything there.
It added to the story.
Dragged on a little too much.
It dragged on for, I think, an issue too long.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I really wanted to, because it didn't give us enough of like present day Clark, and I want to see more with him. I want to see more of Kal-El.
And you know what? We do get it in this book, and so just at the top, I thought this was actually I liked this issue a lot.
Yeah, I did too. The like Jason Aaron going full Jason Aaron for a panel aside, like. But at least it was like that. I went
okay,
issue.
Like don't, and then he didn't, and I was like, okay, but yeah. I'm like warning, I won't give you a ticket tonight, all right? But
I'm freaking watching you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Like
that's that cop that says either stop riding ass or slow the hell down.
Right. Yeah, like, exactly. Yes. That's me and you right here to a T.
I'll give you that pass just because you've been really solid on the run so far. But
and then once you saw me, you did slow down. But, I'm watching you. So, as we were saying, back into the modern present day here in the Absolute Universe, we open with an actual introduction to, I'm going to do this a lot, Andrew, Ra's al Ghul, who still looks like fucking Vandal Savage to a
He looks like Savage, man. He looks like Vandal Savage. He just has his hair in a ponytail. That's the only difference. And Vandal Savage has had his hair in the ponytail too before. Yeah.
So I just think that's him the entire time. But essentially, so in introducing, that's not the right full screen one. In introducing our version of Ra's, we learn that he is sort of, I kind of got some parallels here with Black Mask from Batman, where he is a very cutthroat businessman, if you will, but also somebody who, he is so feared and so powerful because he takes things into his own hands. So we open with the sequence where he is talking to the shareholders of the Lazarus Corporation while killing or like while fighting off an assassination group from the Omega Men. And
yeah, an assassination attempt.
I
And
kind of like
he's
that
handling
too.
a
Yeah.
shareholders meeting. Like that's kind of a like on paper that idea sounds kind of weird,
Right?
but in practice and like seeing it happen, you're kind of like, oh man, he gives no f's right now. He's
like-
like he's still taking his shareholders meeting call, and he's fending off an attempt on his life like it's nothing.
Well, that's this panel right here. This is the one like where I was like, oh, I kind of love this because
Yeah,
he's like, oh yeah, no worries. You might hear something. There's an assassin group, and they're like, what? Like, why did I call? Oh, I thought you'd might like want me to hear. You'd want to hear me kill him, and he kills him, and then he gives him the whole sort of rigmarole we always get about like we've had growth, we're doing great, da 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 da.
yeah.
And it, eventually ends with them.
This
Isn't it?
that
Well,
page
hold on,
was
don't
actually
do that yet.
super dark.
Don't do it yet. Oh,
That
I
page
thought
is dark.
I thought there was a moment where all the shareholders like clapped and he heard it or something. Maybe I
think the
inferred
person that
that
he's speaking with on the other end of the line says that all the shareholders are clapping, is what it is.
Oh yeah, in case you're not able to hear, sir, the investors are roaring their approval. And that's right after
Yeah.
he says, like, I thought you might like to listen as I kill him. And then the guy goes like, oh yeah, they're loving this. So it's like, whoa. But then as Andrew, yeah. So we obviously
This issue gets dark really
it gets
fast.
dude, it gets dark, and it also gets like heartbreaking dark once we get back to actual like Martha. So
Yeah.
here we finally see our what do you call it, Lazarus pit, our Lazarus resin for the absolute universe. It is in some sort of active pump system, kind of. I'm sure there's big vats of it somewhere, but Vandal can pump it into his office if he needs to, take a bath or whatever. I like this. So he's fighting Omega Men, kicks one of them into a Lazarus pit, says turn it on full, and sure enough, turns into a baby, right? And we get, as he's closing out the shareholders meeting, he's talking about like, I know what Lazarus is. This is where I took the name, and I want to pass on everything, but I don't have a son yet. And he's holding the baby, takes him out to the balcony, and
He
literally
drops
just
them
fucking
off the balcony.
like nonchalantly, like
Like it's nothing.
just, and right here. Oh wait, I gotta zoom out. Boom, just all the way down. Does not care. Let me ask you something right here, Andrew, because this for me makes it either like an 11 out of 10 holy shit moment or like a 10 out of 10 holy shit moment. The yelling here, this arg, like at the very bottom. Do you think is that somebody seeing the baby fall, or is that him like unaging? And I only ask because of the arg of the yell, right? Like that's not a yell you would put for, oh shit, right? That would be like an
That's see, okay, so that actually changes how that makes me question how I read that panel initially, because when I read it, I immediately assumed that it was, some passerby on the sidewalk or on the street, probably female. That's usually who you would have scream. And there's especially to the response to a baby, right?
And especially in Gotham, that just seems like you would do that.
And so that was my initial read, but now I'm like, oh. But I think I still ultimately would land on that, not whether it's a female or a male that sees the baby fall. I don't think it's the baby character like aging
as he
again.
fall. Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Because I can't think of an instance where that's happened with, because we've seen instances where the effects of the Lazarus pit start to wear off.
Yeah.
Right. But that rapidly over that like significant seems he wasn't just aged back a decade, right? He was aged back to a baby from an adult
like
male.
at least 2 to 3 decades, right? Like let's say the assassin's 20, like boom, 2 decades.
I'm gonna say that was just somebody else on the street that saw it happen. Either way, that's like a really disturbing page,
right? Like, and I'm glad you read it that way, because that's how I want to read it. Just the idea of like walking down the street, baby, just what? There's a movie where like a woman, isn't it like Watchmen or something, where like a woman falls out? I don't know. There's probably like 7 different movies about it, but like a woman falls out of a window onto like a car while everybody's standing there. Something, I don't know. But regardless, baby falling from the sky, exploding into pancake dust, pretty insane. So that is, we get our first real taste of not Vandal Savage, Ra's al Ghul. then we switch back to find, if you guys remember, I know it's been like 3 or 4 issues, but when we last left Clark, he had made a landfall in Smallville, and he was walking back to see Martha, who we learned was in a senior like facility, has not amnesia, Alzheimer's sort of stuff going on. And if you guys remember, we also got the backstory. We saw that Clark did, you know, meet them, have a relationship with them, loved them.
However brief it was.
Brief it was, they still did the Kent role in his life, you know, showing him what humans can be and be better of.
They were still, even though he was older in this universe than in main DCU universe, they still were the first human contact that he had, and it was still that positive Southern Bible Belt influence, right? Where they were just trying to be kind to people to him.
And then, of course, that leads to Bible Belt kindness gets met with the peacemakers, and he goes, well, fuck them. Like, I know where I stand on this planet. But yeah, so this is where one pager, but it's super sad, where Clark gets into the room, or Kal-El gets into the room, talks to her, you know, hands her some seashells, talks about his adventures, and she just doesn't know him. And she like freaks out, think like, Jonathan, where are you? There's somebody.
She's got Alzheimer's deterioration of the mind.
As I get older, like this stuff hits more, right? Like I don't know anybody who's ever gotten that bad, but I know I will. I know it'll be people we know, right? It might be Trace, it might be Mike, it might be Zero. I don't know, but it's a scary thing, and it's just super heartbreaking when, you know, Clark's there, he wants to be, and they're not there. They're just not. It's not Martha at this point. So we checked in, super sad, but in doing, you know, in visiting Martha, he is back in Smallville, and he gets kind of, what do you call it, like trapped, but sandwiched, that's the word I'm looking for, between Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, who is a member of the resistance group, the Omega Men. And we find out there is this sort of, Clark has always been coming back to Smallville in his free time, saving them, beating up people, all that fun stuff. And we get into the central conflict of this issue, which is that Lois is a peacekeeper, or she works for Lazarus, but she is slowly learning, like, this is something we should, like, he's a miracle. Like, this is something different. This is not something that I should listen to my bosses about. So she's trying to help, but she's on like the bad guy side. And then Jimmy also wants to help, kind of, but more use him, and he's on the good guy side. So there's this really interesting twist dynamic here. I do like that it's still Jimmy and Lois. I really did like this like exchange right here, where Lois is like, I'm not gonna like stand here and be lectured by a terrorist in a stupid mask, and he goes, oh hell no, you're in denial.
Cool.
Yeah, my mask is cool, and I know it. And I'm like, Jimmy, like, it is actually a cool mask, like it really is. But while he's talking to Lois, while he's talking to Jimmy, all of a sudden Clark gets slugged in the chest by kryptonite bullets that Brainiac discovered a couple issues ago by a squad of peacemakers. And so we get into this, you know, down to the wire moment where, what are we going to do? Are you going to help us, Lois? What are we, blah, blah, blah. And she agrees that let the Omega Men take him. You know, you're his best shot. But of course they can't just get away, because Peacemaker, like the actual Peacemaker, is back in a new Brainiac body, and he is just like he is ready to rip and tear Doom Guy style. Like it is. Yep. He is bloodthirsty, so he is just going after Clark, hounding him, beating his ass like into the ground, as you can see here. And it is a knockdown, drag down fight where Clark is probably, if he's going to lose at this
he's
point.
on the back heel for this entire fight, basically.
Well, like this part,
for like
right
maybe
here,
one panel
right here, when he like tries to use his ice breath and it doesn't do anything, and then Peacemaker just like smashes his face in. I'm like, oh, this isn't just like base radiate like kryptonite poisoning. Like you're going down, but this is the end of it. But I don't know if you saw this, Andrew, but we finally got it, even if it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But in panels 1 and 2, Clark's finally using like the energy fire thing from his fist.
The energy, the solar energy that's built up in his hands there.
It has taken us 8 issues, but at least we finally got it. I was like, oh,
you've been waiting for that for 8 issues. We finally got it here.
Waiting for it. Guys, go back and watch every foil variant. You'll hear me go, I can't wait until they do that. I can't wait until they do that. And they finally did it. But We also then get a slight transformation to Clark's suit. As you guys remember, the cape is a sort of sentient computer. Puts him in this bio Kryptonian armor, which sort of is almost like a power up. He's almost like a Kamen Rider, where he's super powered, and then he puts this on, and then he does 1,000 punches in 30 seconds, right? At activate tornado mode, and he just starts.
That's a lot, yeah.
Absolutely unleashing on them. A little bit of flashy here. I don't know if that's intentional or just the color choices, because red and yellow, you really don't have a lot of options outside of that when you're working with Superman. So
yeah.
But yeah, the fight almost comes to a head with Clark dying, but at the last second, Brainiac shuts down Peacemaker, saying, "Nope, we need you to take him alive. You are not to kill him." And finally, Jimmy gets Clark into the Omega Men boom tube and tells Lois, or like they tell Lois, "Nope, you stay right here. Like, you're not coming with us for good reason." And that's where we end the issue. We have Lois surrounded, and now she'll have to answer to her bosses over at Lazarus next issue or whenever we get there. But yeah, as Andrew was saying, overall the issue is it moves the plot forward. We finally see more of the Omega Men, what they're up to, what Lois is doing. Sort of, yeah, we're moving the pieces finally, and I'm glad
after
to see
like
it.
what 2 or 3 issues of not
way too long, just too much weird setup.
Yeah.
One thing like I will highlight, or just like to you in particular, is this is one of the things I like about these like absolute or ultimate universe things. This is Peacemaker given Brainiac technology, and now he's meant to, like they're Metallo, right? Like, I don't know. I like those kind of switcheroos in identity or whatever for these things. So I like that. I thought that was a cool, different way to do it.
Yeah, it's this hybridized character.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah, the hybridized character. So generally a good issue on my end. Bleeding Cool is stupid, by the fucking way. They wrote an article about this power up, and
That's nothing new.
They're like, I know, but this one, they were like, oh, Absolute Superman gets an Absolute Batman style power up, and it's about this, and they highlight the featured image is Batman from like issue 1 when he's got the spikes coming out, and Rich Johnston goes, look, he has spikes too. And it's not even like not even the same thing, dude.
Similar.
This is more to me.
Rich Johnston, like, quit.
Please, God, quit.
You're bad at this. You're really bad at this.
Even I don't know if Pro Geek's here, but
you're bad at faking being a comic book fan.
That's the thing. Even Tom Brevoort, because in his weekly blog, he answers fan questions, and Rich asks them sometimes, and Tom just like does not, like, he's not having it. He's like, I'll answer it because you asked, but like, why am I engaging with you? I know you're just gonna be a dipshit. So
you're just an insufferable douchebag. Like,
pretty much. Thank you, Bleeding Cool. But yes, that is where we are with Superman. Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything you want to highlight?
You know what? Honestly, no. Other than I'm genuinely curious to see how it pans out between the different factions, because you got the Peacekeepers whom Lois is connected with, right? But then Jimmy is connected through the Omega Men, and Clark or Kal-El, this universe Superman, is kind of caught in the middle. And so it feels like he's trying to like make snap decisions based on the most information that he has available and do what he thinks is best. And I'm curious to see whether or not that actually pans out as being like, was it the correct decision for him to go with the Omega Men?
Right.
Maybe it wasn't. And maybe that pans out poorly for him. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, and I liked this third panel here where when Lois and Jimmy show up and they're fighting and they're like, you suck, no, you suck. The Soul, right? Like SOL, the cave is like, they're both like crazy. Like, do not work with either of them. And he still goes like, I know they're like idiots, but I'm here for a reason. And
well, it's funny commentary because, and I don't need to explain, at least not to you, what I think it's actually kind of relating to. Because it's talking about two different, extremes on a spectrum, and just those people being kind of insufferable and annoying.
And like talking past each other instead of like,
right. Yeah. Just
you have a common goal of saving Superman, but you're both being just like, I have to do it.
Not taking 2 seconds to figure out and focus on where you guys are actually meeting in the middle, and you're focusing on everything else instead. And I thought that was actually properly done
Yeah.
commentary without actually stating it as being anything that was actually commentary. I just read it and I was like, oh, I'm able to relate that to other things.
To other things, right? Because
But
it's
it's not
just a
reading
universal
as though
thing.
it's deliberately one specific thing or
Right.
another,
There
right?
it's the difference, guys, between what we're seeing here and then if like the Peacemaker Metallo was a Trump caricature, like a one-to-one
Yeah.
one, right? Like that's
Yeah,
the
if they were like
difference.
deliberately making fun of one president or another, that's a completely different story, right? Because then you're just inserting real world
Right.
politics
And then
and
it's
real
just and
world
it's
people, and that takes
so
you
on the
out of
nose.
the
Yes.
yeah, it takes you out of the story because now you're like, no, this is escapism from the real world. Why are you inserting the real world into it?
I kind of like when it's rare, but when they can do commentary on our stuff, again, not putting like a direct stamp on it, but they relate it in terms of like what's going on. They did it a lot in post Civil War, right? Like because of
Mhm.
the war on terror and everything, and then Obama, Tony and Cap, put them as your sort of avatars to talk about these general things instead
Mhm.
nothing specific, but the police state, the war. I like when they can do it like that. Like I always think that's pretty clever. If you can do it well, if you can do it well.
Absolutely.
But speaking of team ups and collaborations, while the good folks here at DC, or at least in the Absolute Universe, get their shit together when it comes to dealing with their new Kryptonian friend, we have another long running relationship going. It is hitting its stride. We have our latest issue of All New Venom, guys. We are at issue number 7. We're about this is actually just the first issue after the reveal that MJ is Venom. If you guys remember, after the Venom War, her jackpot thing starts freaking out. It starts going crazy and doing all these combinations that start killing her, essentially, like making her bones extend or making her skin drop off. And as she's about to die from one of the rotations, she links up with Venom because Venom's also dying. And boom, you have your all new Venom. So if you guys remember from the last issue where we left off, it was what's his name? After talking to Robbie Robertson and letting everybody know all the identities and blah 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 blah, we ended with Flash Thompson calling Venom and saying, "Hey, we need to talk. We need to fight. Hey, have a good night, Clone Geek. I know Punk took it easy a little while ago. Always a pleasure to have you guys, no matter what amount of time you could spend with us. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Maybe you'll catch the VOD. Either way, have a good one, guys. And trust me, there are some good comic books out there, even though most of the ones, this one, I mean, Superman's good, Venom's good. Our next one, maybe not so much, but take it easy, guys. We will definitely see you soon. Jumping back into Earth 616. So yes, as we learn, which you and I kind of guessed this at the end of, or during our discussion of the last issue, which is basically that.
Oh, there was totally a setup and meant to be like a fake fight. Oh
Yep,
yeah,
yeah.
that was.
I mean, it was easy. I'm not saying
they
we're geniuses.
telegraphed it.
Yeah.
They telegraphed it without even completely telegraphing it, because I think it was just one of those things where we've read comics for so long that we were like, there's no actual genuine reason for these two characters right now to be going at each other's throats. It has to be a freaking diversion. It has to be a setup. It has to be a play. And if it's not, I'll actually be mad because it won't make sense.
It won't make sense. But yeah, we were completely on point. Again, not really that hard to guess it. We read too many comic books.
And I do want to say, and in fact, I'm going to bring this up. So for those of you who didn't hear earlier, on Saturday morning, was it 7 a.m. Eastern time, I think, or something like that. I don't know. For those of you who watch the Comic Aficionados
we'll post
stream
links. We'll post links.
over on Thinking Critical, I will be making an appearance over there. I'll be with Aaron Sparrow and some other guys chatting about the best comic books so far of 2025, now that we're at the kind of midpoint of the year. And that should be a lot of fun. I am going to bring up this book. And I guarantee I'm going to take heat for it.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think that MJ as Venom, guys, it's going to be temporary. it's not a permanent thing.
No
There's
way.
no way it is. It's going to be a temporary thing, and eventually Venom is going to end up back with either Eddie at some point after the Eddie Brock Carnage thing,
Yeah.
runs its course, or he's going to end up with Dylan,
Dylan.
right? Either one of those, I'm totally cool with. Enjoy this for what it is. It's actual
Right.
good storytelling and utilizing things that are available to the writers. It's utilizing history, and it's
Yep.
really interesting. MJ as
Yeah,
Venom
dude.
is actually like the best utilization of changing the symbiote over to different hosts temporarily
Since
again
like Flash.
since Flash.
Yeah.
Yes, since Flash, because Dylan was cool for sure. Flash, I'm glad, has kind of his own thing now.
I'm so glad about that. Yeah.
But Agent Venom was cool.
He was so
I liked Agent
cool.
Venom. Like, that made me give a crap about Flash Thompson.
And that was such a good twist to make it Flash of all people. Like,
Yes.
that was so good when
And then
they revealed it.
And because of the era that those books were that they were
Same thing.
published, right? Yeah, same difference, same picture. Like him being, a injured war veteran,
Yeah.
right? Like that also tugged on the heartstrings as well. Like they
so
paired it was
good.
perfectly
It
timed.
was so good.
And so I'm gonna bring up that this book, including when not just leading up to it, but with the reveal of MJ being Venom, is a top 5 book of 2025 thus far. Easy.
And remember,
easy.
Remember, guys, Andrew touched upon it there, but you can't even, let's say you absolutely hate everything you're seeing here. You hate MJ, you hate Flash, you hate Dylan, you hate, Robbie, you hate Rick Jones, whatever. This is what, and yes, of course,
Rick
Paul,
Jones in this book acts more like Peter than Peter does in his own book.
And I like how we get to that, like, once we get to the end of this book, like, it is so good. But as, like, Al Ewing's actually, like, talked about before, and a lot of writers talked about, what Ewing has here, this isn't him. This isn't Ewing sitting down and going like,
he's playing with the cards he's dealt.
Exactly. What do I have? I have a broken MJ. I have a broken Venom. I have Paul and Dylan. Let's see what we can do. Let's make a stew, right? Just throw it all in a pot and boil it. And it's good. It's turning out really, really good. He put the right spices in it and all that fun stuff, the right ratios. And yeah, no, I love this book. I'm excited to see. I
also just love seeing Carlos Gomez.
His MJ, dude.
His MJ is like peak Interiors MJ. I literally only put his MJ below Campbell's.
Which is saying something, guys.
That is it.
But, like,
and honestly, considering Campbell only does covers these days,
yeah,
an argument could be made that Carlos Gomez's MJ is number 1 in terms of interiors.
I would say that, especially because she's not an amazing Spider-Man right now. We all know that. But no,
make me flip my desk.
No, Carlos is killing it. It is, I don't know, like, she's just stunning. Like, okay, so let's just get into it because
so good.
Because
yeah,
it matters to this point. So obviously we jump in with a meeting between MJ, Venom, and Flash about whatever they were going to set up last issue. If you guys, fun Easter egg here. If you guys didn't notice it, I don't know if you did. This is the same bridge that Peter meets MJ on in Spider-Man 3. Like with the flowers.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Okay, good. I thought you might. But I was like, hey, Carlos, you're having fun. And
I'm sure a lot of people might not have even thought about it twice, but I did see that and I was like, nah.
And here's another credit I'll give to that. Like, if go watch the scene, guys. None of those people, like, Carlos didn't just trace a frame. He maybe did a little tracing on the bridge, but then he put all those NPCs there himself. Like, that's the mark of a good artist, when you're not just like click click. Oh, that's clearly a photo or whatever. Yeah. So we get a recap between everybody, right? Flash Thompson is back in his body after Venom War, and MJ is is Venom now. They argue for a minute. They're like, "Why were you spying outside of my window?" And Flash says, "It was an accident. Like, I was spying on Venom, and you happen to be Venom. Like, legitimate accident." So
And I
MJ,
like how this scene progresses because
me
it starts
too.
with Venom talking to MJ, and then MJ is like talking to Venom, and then Venom takes over MJ and starts talking to Flash.
It's
And it's this
really
really cool
good.
progression of the conversation because there's history between literally all of them
All of them,
right
right?
here. And
Yeah, like this
that's
dynamic.
again, that's Ewing like taking what he has to work with and working with it.
And you know what? Like, I really like that he leans a little more into the romantic end of the symbiote here, right? Like I miss
Uh-huh.
the old days. I miss when things were simpler. That's the connection a symbiote has to somebody, right? Like, it's not a romance thing. It's not about like I want to mate with you. It's that actual connection. So like that,
Yeah.
I like that loss of love where he's like, I miss you, Flash. Like I miss you so much. Like we were
I miss
safe. It was
I
better.
miss the days when things were less freaking batshit
Right.
crazy.
And I'm like, you know what? Those were a little bit easier days way back then. And then I love this entire exchange right here because Venom, opens up and it's like, I'm so sorry, like I miss you. Flash opens up, and again, this bit that Ewing's been doing through Venom War, where he's giving the symbiote its personality and not just making
Mhm.
it a monster, not just making it goo. Like it has its again hanging in Peter's closet and is like, don't get scared, please. Like I didn't know
And
where
this
else to
is
go.
this is where Ewing shows that he did his homework too, because the symbiote's personality, Venom's
Yes.
specifically, in this book feels like it is a person because your personality is built off of your experiences,
Right.
right? It's something that's built off. You're not just born with a personality. You may have some predilections, right, and some predispositions,
Right.
but it's built off of your interactions that you have and the connections you make with other people. The symbiote, the Venom symbiote, has built these connections with all of its different hosts, right? And so
Yeah.
you can see little like hints and layers of the different hosts that the symbiote has had
I do like
throughout
that.
this series. And I really like that because that tells me that Ewing was paying the hell attention because he's layering in those
Right.
different things. And it makes me wonder because when MJ is suited up as the current
Venom.
new all new
Yeah.
Venom, um, how much of the like because we've had now multiple characters say like Venom's acting like
Like that's
Spider-Man
not
a
right.
lot.
Yeah.
Like how much of that is MJ like trying to channel Peter and how much of it is
Oh.
Venom trying to channel Peter? And maybe it's a combination
Ooh,
of
I
the
didn't
2
think about that.
because Peter is an incredibly important and keystone individual in both of these individuals'
All
lives,
three of these
right?
individuals, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, if you wanna add in Flash as well, but specifically with
Yeah,
regards to,
yeah.
like,
MJ and Venom.
very much Spider-Man personality coming through when MJ is suited up as all new Venom, like, I'm wondering if it's both MJ and the Venom symbiote, like, channeling Peter.
Well, remember, there's that amazing exchange we like in the last issue when Venom and MJ are telling their story, where I thought this was the end, but I was gonna go out with like my most hated enemy, but you had a
Yeah,
different thought. Tell him, Venom.
yeah,
What would Peter do? Like
yeah,
what would Spider-Man do? Right? Like
yeah.
I, I see like it. It's good. Like I have nothing to add
That's
to that.
good,
Yeah,
man,
it's
that's
good.
really good.
I will. The only thing I will add to that is before anybody out there goes, oh, what about Mac Gargan or Lee Price or
No, we don't talk about that.
no. I like when Mac has it because of the plot where Osborn stole it and put it on Mac and was like, you're gonna be my fucking Spider-Man. Like I like that stuff.
There are some
But
interesting story writing there, but I'm not particularly a fan of when either of them had the symbiote.
then where do they come in? It's not in the personality because remember they were very very temporary. Lee Price even
Yes.
more so
Oh,
than
it was
Mac. Like
flash in a pan.
boom,
Flash in a
Flash.
pan.
But God damn it, Andrew.
I
But
know what I am.
where they shut up. Where let me get my thought out. When when where those guys come out is in the combat, right? You and I have
Uh-huh.
highlighted this where she's like being more monstrous. She like lets her like
Yeah.
tentacles out. Like that's where the
Or in
combat's
some
coming
even
from.
in this issue,
Yep.
when Venom and Flash are going at it, Agent Anti-Venom, if that's I think that's what he's called right now,
Yeah,
right?
that's what he is now.
Um,
Yeah.
when they're doing their kind of like set up fake fight, there's a moment where at least the way the panel's drawn, it looks like um Venom is channeling like those Matt Gargan days where it looks like one of his appendages is that panel right there.
Yeah.
It that gives me thoughts of like, oh, that's Matt Gargan's freaking scorpion tail, right?
Yep. Like it's so rad, guys. And the one
That was written into the script, people. I don't have a script in front of me, but I guarantee you that was written into the script by Al Ewing.
it has to be. Like it has to be.
That doesn't just happen on accident.
No, it doesn't. And if you guys go back and look, issue 1, when Venom lands and he like eats the bombs, right? It's a weird thing because he makes like the mouth. That's
that his head
and his head like blows out. The mouth he makes, that's the Lee Price Venom mouth, like the really jagged, like almost like spider carnage teeth. And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, no, Ewing is doing a fantastic job here with the symbiote, with the history, with MJ in particular. This scene is so good because, like we were saying, it starts with, let's talk about this, and it's Flash and Venom talking about this. And then, to your point, like of that gradient, Andrew, Venom saying, I miss you, like it should have been easier. And Flash is like, yeah, I know. It's always natural to wonder about your past. Like, was there something we could have done different? And he's like, he looks up at MJ. And he's like, it could have been. There is another world out there where those two ended up. Gwen's alive.
That
right?
That was something that I wanted to touch on, is that Ewing gave us some really good tension right there in that moment between Flash and MJ. Now, ultimately, we want MJ to be with Peter, obviously, but considering the state of current Spider editorial office, I think that was like a really nice moment. And I think it felt organic.
Yes.
Because we know there's history between the two characters. So it's not like they just threw that in there out of nowhere. This is stupid, CW soap opera, right? Where we're just going to add,
it's not Shay,
sexual.
Right? Shay is here all of a
sudden.
We're
not just adding random sexual or romantic tension between two characters that just have known each other for 5 minutes, right? These two characters have history between themselves. But at the same time, knowing and understanding where both the writer and artist stand on the current state of MJ and Peter's relationships, that's just kind of another layer there that adds context where it's like, I see you and I appreciate you.
Yep. See, to me, I just like it because Flash gets that tinge, which I'm sure we all have if we think about, the past, like, oh, what if I dated her, or what if I went to that event or something. But there's no dwelling on it. There's no like, ooh, the soap opera. It's just like he goes, yeah, what if? And he's like, all right, doesn't matter. Like let's move on. Like it was a passing thing. So I just, really, really like that. But Ewing is so good at writing these characters in this book.
MJ looks so good in every single panel.
This panel in particular, like it's jaw dropping.
She's curvy, she's got the hair flowing, she's wearing a nice outfit, and she's rocking a classic MJ outfit.
Yep.
Well, I guess MJ can rock if you draw MJ well, she can rock basically anything. Yeah, you can put her in anything. But she's wearing a very classic MJ outfit, which is like kind of like street sexy.
Yeah.
Right? Where
100%.
She's got, a simple top on, but then that's a short skirt.
But it's also not like the shortest skirt you could go for.
Yeah,
right?
It's not literally all the way up to her freaking hooter, but it's you not
can see
far
the line
off.
there, guys. Carlos is good enough. You can see the cutoff line. The extra 4 inches.
He's doing it for the people, man. He's doing it for the people. He's a man of the people. People's champion here. He's the Rock of the current Marvel artist
especially
lineup.
Just when he came out and was like, yeah, fuck Paul. Like he was the first one to do it. Like
that was it. That's where he became the people's champion for real. But it's MJ-ified in that it's not like supermodel MJ, which she can do, but it's like just normal MJ, which she's still wearing the short skirt, but it's a denim short skirt, and you can see where there's like little tears, and it's not perfect and prim and proper, and that informs me of MJ's character, where she enjoys dressing attractively. She enjoys dressing in a way that shows off what she has, her God-given physique, right?
Don't they bring up her movie career in this like issue too?
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So
Yeah,
movie star,
Flash mentions
model.
it, or being a movie star, and an actress. But she doesn't necessarily have to be in like, you know, perfect looking attire.
She's
She's
not
like,
Emma.
I'm gonna wear I'm still gonna wear a short skirt, but it's gonna be MJified. It's gonna be a denim skirt. Maybe it's gonna be a little torn.
Right.
It'll look a little more rock and roll, just a little bit, right? And I appreciate that.
Yeah, and no hyper accessories. Like she's simple, but she's elegant, or not even elegant. Like simple, but hot at the same time. Like Emma's more of the like elegance, but yes, just all Carlos, all MJ, all the time. Like this shot, I feel. For my guys
10
out
out
there,
of 10, no notes.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, no notes. For my guys out there, I feel like we've all had that moment where we've looked up at some unattractive like person, whether it's your partner or somebody you were dating, and you're just like, wow, oh yeah, I see it, and then move on, as we will do from this page, because from there, that's basically the setup. They're meeting to talk about, hey, I know we have this arrangement, but now the people I work for as Agent Anti-Venom are saying, bring in Venom. If I do that, because it's you, now Dylan goes back into prison or he goes onto the streets, and we don't want, like, that was the entire point of this. So they go, all right, let's stage a big fight. And so we, of course, we can't ignore the Dylan and the Paul of it all. We have Dylan coming back in, still on his beat to find who Venom is. He doesn't know. There are only two
he
people.
doesn't know that MJ is Venom.
Only three people know right now. If Flash, Robbie, and Paul.
Yeah, Flash, Robbie, and Paul. Yes.
Yeah, because I was gonna do two as well, Andrew, and I was like, oh no, wait, Flash technically knows as well. So I actually,
in fact, he was the first one to find out.
He was actually the first one to find out. You're right.
But we found out much later.
We knew it. No, we knew. We called that issue 1. Go back. Foil variant, no prize. You guys will find it. But
I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
But I'm saying.
We kind of did.
We know what we're doing here. So, yes, Dylan, still hunting for the real identity of Venom, decides like, oh, I'm going to go to the Bugle, and I'm going to go stalk out, Robbie and Rick. And Paul's like, what are you doing? Like, still the real, again, this is not to say he's a good character now. He's still the whiny, needy, using therapy talk the wrong way, manipulative. But I did like this little bit here where he's like, what do you do? Like, you're not going anywhere. And he's like, I'm going to the Bugle. And he goes, oh, okay, yeah, like, let's go. And even Dylan's like, what? Like, why are you so in on this?
Yeah, you changed your mind real fast on
And
that.
again, it's because he does know MJ is, like, he knows the identity. So he's doing the thing where he's going to, like, sit with Dylan, let him do his thing with full, like, safety and confidence, knowing you're not going to land on it. Which,
yeah.
No, just a good interaction. Again, not a good character, none of that stuff. I like that little exchange. I don't think he should be a dad to Dylan or anything, but I was like, credit where credit is due. But
yeah,
yes,
that's quality of Al Ewing.
Yes, it really
not
is.
Credit to Paul as a character.
As Mike points out, we then jump to the Bugle with Robbie Robertson and Rick Jones in his Defender shirt. He's been wearing all these like old Marvel logo shirts in these issues, and I kind of love it. Like, I remember the first issue has that 90s, like the M with the like yellow, and it, nice little Easter egg there. The only thing that bothers me is they do the thing where they copy and paste like a graphic, and yes, like they warp it.
Yeah, all they did was like rotate it on the
Z axis.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, okay, it works. But I prefer when they just hand draw it in, even if it looks like shit, because then it feels like it's in there. But
yeah,
we get this. So remember, Robbie knows he knows who MJ is. Now he's trying to get Rick to sort of like get off the beat. He's like, just go put your talents somewhere else. You're missing stories. You're not paying attention. And they get in this fight. And I really like this because if you guys remember, last issue or 2 issues ago, we learned that Rick is actually being he's playing host to the sleeper symbiote, and he doesn't know that. It literally just like activates, kind of like Peter's symbiote suit did back in the day. Takes over his body, goes and does shit. Rick wakes up and goes, oh man. Now, okay, this is one of those bits where like, we know that's how the symbiote can work, but I totally forgot that element because Rick freaks out here, and he's like,
well, because we really haven't involved that element in a really long
not
time.
in a long. We've been way too much into the like weird King in Black cosmic stuff, which is Ewing going full Ewing. That's where that is happening over there. But
Yeah.
it's this good bit of history, right? Where Robbie asks like, okay, Rick, you're falling behind in work. I gotta ask, are you Hulk? Like, are you okay? And he's like, oh, I'm not Venom. Like, why are you saying that? And also, I'm not hulking out. Like, what is your problem? And he has this big freak out. And then he just goes like, the truth is, Robbie, I'm blacking out again. I don't know what's happening. I am waking up like exhausted in my house after hours. Like, I should have been at work. I don't know what's going on. Am I hulking out? The tests say no. And I'm like, oh, that is actually a really huge dilemma. Right? Like,
Yeah.
wow, poor Rick.
I'm showing all of the symptoms of this thing, but I'm pretty positive that I'm not doing this thing, right? Like that's
right.
That's
But
got to be a weird place to be.
you've got to be going crazy, right? It's the thing of like, I know I didn't put my wallet there. I know I didn't put, but with the potential to kill millions of people at any second. And then I do like sort of touching into that Spider-Man-ness of it. You know, Rick admits, like, I'm not angry. I'm scared. Why do you think I was making jokes this entire time? Which is that's been Peter's explanation for why he talks shit. It A, throws off the enemies, and B, he's freaking out. I feel like, I don't remember who he was, like, where the issue is, but I feel like the first time he talks about it, he's like, if you're staring down a rhino, that's not fun. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die. And I was like, okay, yeah, I totally get it there, Peter. So after this, we have everybody sort of, you know, Dylan and Paul are staking out the Bugle. Rick and Robbie walk out of the Bugle to get some air. And at the wrong moment, boom, MJ and Flash start their fake fight. We get some really good action shots from everybody. As, you know, Andrew pointed out earlier, the Venom kicktail. We have, but then,
like, you can't tell me that doesn't look like a Mac Gargan.
It absolutely,
like, Scorpion Venom.
I didn't put that together like when I read it, but then as soon as you said it, I went, yep, 100%, that has to be, especially with the way it's like curving it. That's the spike that Mac used to do, or I don't know what he's up to these days, probably still does. Anyway, as kind of always goes in comic books or things like this, even though they had this all planned out with even, you know, Venom being fake defeated, or anti-Venom being fake defeated, so Venom
things
can get
do
away,
not go as planned.
because the anti-symbiote team that we have seen throughout these issues shows up, surprises the hell out of them, and takes them for a ride. And it, you know, Sleeper activates on Rick. It's just sort of that everybody has come together now. Third act, like, what are we going to do here? And I mean third act in the sense of the arc, not the overall book. I don't think we're done anytime soon here. But
oh yeah.
But then I was actually really impressed by this, Andrew, because as you'll like this as a writer, and I'm sure you did notice this. So we have the plan, and the plan was going to work. And then the Scar team shows up. Oh shit, everything is thrown in the works, or a wrench is thrown in the works. What do you, like, in my head, I was like, I don't know how does Flash get out of this one without earnestly trying to, like, take down Venom, right? Like, what are we going to do here?
I mean, as much as I don't enjoy giving the CW writers credit, make the plan, execute the plan,
right?
Expect the plan to go off the rails
every time.
Throw away the plan,
which they do here. But it's also like, oh shit! Like, do I have to fight now? My boss. It's sort of like, oh, my boss is here. I can't be nice to my friend, but I know I should be nice to my friend. Ewing did the right thing, and it seems so basic, but I guess because this is such a good use of it, he basically did the, like, oh, we don't care about civilians. It's totally okay for Scar to, if we're taking in symbiotes, we can do collateral damage. And that makes Flash go, no, like, that's not what I signed up on.
Like, what?
And,
no.
Yeah. and so then, boom, they're back on the same
side. I didn't sign up for that.
And so I'm like, okay, all right, Ewing, I see you. But then, yeah, the act keeps going. MJ stabs the hell out of Flash. We then see Rick as Sleeper. There again, he's executing whatever plan to break Toxin and Sleeper, and what I think there's another, like, the kid is in there. But Bren, or whatever his name, break them out of prison. At the last second, we reveal that Dr. Octopus is here. He is working with the Scar facility, and that is where we leave off. We have
Now,
Flash
which
and
Otto is this? Because isn't Otto in 616 currently the new body that he made as the new Superior Spider-Man?
okay,
Or am I misremembering this?
you're not. It got really, really stupid for a while. So, yes, as Andrew's referencing, let's jump back to Amazing, 600, 700, whatever it was. Otto puts his brain in Spider-Man. We get the Superior Spider-Man arc. After that arc, and I know you and I have a whole thing to get into with this.
I read volume 2 of Superior Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which took place, that started publishing in what, like 2018 or 2019?
Yeah.
Something like that. I read that first like arc, and it was like okay, and then just kind of was like, well, this isn't good enough for me to keep going with right now.
That's Slott for you. You get one or two good moments, and then
which kind of bummed me out because I liked the idea of the Superior Spider-Man. As somebody who hates alternate Spider-Man characters, every damn one of them, right? And I'd throw them all away in a heartbeat if it meant fixing Peter.
Does this one even count though? Like, I don't count. Okay, let me rephrase that. Yes, I think after he made his debut or whatever, and the Spider-Verse stuff started, I think now you can throw him into that category. But before, that's like.
Well, in that original 6 arc Superior Spider-Man, that I don't count that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't count like that initial 6 arc run by Slott, to his credit. I don't count that. And there was some dumb stuff in there too, but overall I like a lot more of it than I dislike.
I do as well.
In retrospect,
the man purse moment is probably top 5 Spider-Man moments of all time. Like, I have to give it to Slott. It is just so.
It was that, and it was just the Gobby going, you just
and like the way
I read it and I felt it. I felt it in my soul.
That artist, that's the guy we don't like. That's Garmine Shisadupi or whatever his name, Carmine Gisadupi, the guy who did. And but still, that one or those 2 panels of like Goblin eyes open, narrowed in, they're perfect. Like, they communicate everything. Like, just you nailed that one play. I'm not going to sign you to the team, but holy shit, put you on that, cover, or put you on the card. You get the special card for this pack. So so what happened
page was, is golden.
Which page? Oh, yeah. The one I don't have at the ready. But so we go from, so then Otto gives his body back to Peter. Ben comes back and becomes the Jackal and does his new you stuff. And so in doing the new you stuff, so Otto's mind like goes, the Octobot still exists and it still has his blueprint or whatever. So he goes, works with Ben, makes, all the new you clones. Then he says, make me a body that's, me, but also the template of Peter Parker. And that's where you and I are talking, where that's where he gets like the younger body, he gets the hip haircut, and he becomes the Superior Octopus, right?
Yeah.
And which I still think, I'm so mad they went away from that. I really think he should have stayed hot and Superior. Like, that was just a good turn for Otto. It was a good evolution for the character. Like, we're past the original design of the stupid bowl cut and him being and like all pudgy and everything, and like he was far more intimidating than
as they evolved him into.
And unfortunately, they brought him back to this. The upgrade guy, or here, we'll get to it because you could.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, we're still not done explaining to me what the actual hell I'm looking at.
From there, he has to sacrifice the body for some. It's like, oh, I can't properly operate my old machinery, and like, oh, my old, like, something is about to blow up. I need to use my old machinery or my old tech. I can't properly do it with this body because the brain waves aren't right. So then he reclones a new body, which is the stupid Aqu one. And that's where he is. That's where he's been now. But in doing that, he like doesn't fully remember the Superior Octopus era, right? Like, his memories clock out at right after Superior. I don't know why. That's a plot hole on Marvel's end.
That's
like, it
super contrived.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's really, really bad, man. And it,
like,
it takes place. It's like, it goes over like
like
4
it's
different
just
like series. It's bad.
that feels like it's forcing them to just put him back in his old body for no actual good narrative reason other than 'cause reasons.
That was literally what it is. There is no reason for this Ock to be him being fat again in the 90s style.
What the
Ock.
hell does that have to do with his brainwaves? The Octobot literally carbon copied his brainwave. That was the whole thing.
Stupid as shit. Like, it is bad. I do
That
not
was the
recommend
literal
it.
whole premise of Superior.
The only reason I know this is because one day I opened some book and I went, why the fuck isn't he Superior Octopus anymore? That's a sick suit. What are we doing? And I looked it up and I was like, this is bad. Like, you had no... And even worse, during the Zeb Wells run of Amazing, Wells made him more of the, like, fat baby. Like this is... He brought, like, oh, Otto's back, but, Spider-Man, like, I'm gonna get you, Barry. And it's like, we made progress. I don't know why we did this. Here's the amount of auto progress we have right now, everyone. So look, his suit, not a bad suit, whatever, but you can see
this hurts my soul, actually.
You can see his tentacles. They're not the typical super rigid, claws on the end that we normally get from an auto.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that they've progressed since bringing his fat ass back. Those are like, it's made of, how do you explain this? Like connecting parts that can like disconnect and then like, so there's a tube of like gel, like a phantasm in there, and they can all slip off the top of it and be an independently operating little like thing. That's all we have. That's it. That's all I have for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cuz Comics.
Cuz Comics. So, this is another one of those, like, ultimately for me here with Venom, I feel like this is a play the cards where they're dealt, right? Like,
sure.
Maybe
yeah.
Ewing didn't
It's not like Al Ewing's
but...
been dealing with Ock at all to begin with.
Yeah, right? So, I'm sure he went, who's available? This will be fun. We don't have to like that version of Otto, but I did at least like his depiction here. Like, there's a moment early on where that Scar team is showing him footage of Venom, and he straight up admits, he's like, it's evolving, like, very well. I mean, just look at the fact that I just referred to it as him instead of it. And I'm like, that's the Otto I like, who's actually just like a very dedicated scientist, ultimate style, instead of just a pissy baby.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Ewing at this point currently with this run because this book has been fantastic so far. I'm still gonna be on board with where he's going with it, but I don't just because this is tangentially related, right? Because it's not like he was in charge of putting Otto back into this place for Otto's status quo. So he's, again, as you just said, he's playing with the cards he was dealt. So, okay, this is where we're at. This is what we're dealing with. That still annoys me because Otto is far more imposing the way he was. And I guess at least they didn't give him, like, the haircut isn't the complete same bowl cut that he had.
It's a slightly, like, hipper one, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, it's not super far off from it, though. Because, again, he was just far more, he almost had that almost Luciferian look to him, right? Where he was this really good-looking guy, but he was brilliant and he was sinister, right?
But then he was also a hero. He was a sinister hero. Like, what are we doing here? Very, very weird.
That's what made me, and that's what makes the Superior Spider-Man, or I guess Superior
Octopus, whatever you want to call him these days.
That makes him, like, honestly, probably the only exception for me
of, like,
when it comes to the Ultimate Spider people, because of the way that it was handled, at least conceptually, and it made for something far more interesting to me.
Well, like, isn't that to me that's a cool pair? Like, you've got the Spider-Man Venom, right?
And it takes it's gonna take a lot to convince me to care about an Ultimate Spider person.
No, like, I know that we all know this, right, guys? Like, we've all.
I don't even like the ones that a lot of other people like.
He would throw them all out, and we know that, and I accept it. He's wrong, but he would throw every single one of them out. And like, like, comics do it all the time, where you have, like, hero and then, like, an evil negative version of hero, right? You have your Superman, your Zod, you have your Spider-Man, your Venom. That's what I liked about him being Superior Octopus.
You have your Sonic and your Shadow.
You have your Sonic and your Shadow. Imagine like the cool fights where you like yes, an octopus also has 4 arms or like 8 arms like a spider. Yes, both of them should have their arm appendages while they're fighting. It just it works, especially as Andrew says, of an evolution of that character.
Yeah.
So the Ox situation is that's what I'm saying, Mikey. He does not understand the gospel of Ben Reilly or even Kane in the one Scarlet Spider series, which is actually good. I know that he secretly has a Spider-Gwen like collection. I've seen it. I've seen his pre-orders.
I do not, but I do appreciate a good design where I see it. And Spider-Gwen has a really great design. And
she
Ben,
used to.
like when he's got his actual suit with the big old spider, that's a great design.
It's one of the. That's why I went to Mayday. That's why she took it up. I like, again, evolving, moving worlds. We've lost this. We can't do that anymore.
I don't count Mayday among those alternate spider people that I'd throw out because she's Peter's daughter.
She's a completely different thing. I hate that they even involved her anything past that first Spider-Verse event. Like, of course, have her because that was the point. Like, show everybody, but then just leave her alone. We didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But okay, guys. So that's all new Venom. Still a really good book. Who knows what we're gonna get out of Ock here? Might be cool. Somewhere along the lines we might get something cool. But yeah. Overall, it's a great book. If you want to hear more about Venom, like a real deep dive, check out whatever Comics Alliance, right? Like that or no, that's a different site. Whose stream? On Saturday.
Was it Thinking Critical, the Comic Aficionado?
That's Comic Aficionado. Yeah. So again, we'll let you guys know again, but if you want to know more about Venom,
I'll drop links in the Discords, both mine and Mav's.
Yep,
and then I'll post about it on Twitter.
So check that out for more Venom. Still a really good book. I also just, before we move on from here, I'm just going to say, I really like this cover. Like, it's simple, but it's cool. I really like it. Like
I had the option to grab a couple of the alternate covers, and I was like, no, I'm actually cool with this one.
I actually like this one. Yeah. So good book. Everybody check it out. But you know what? It's such a perfect transition where everybody just let us, because yes, we're sticking in the Spider-Man world, sticking in alternate Spider-Man worlds, sticking in some very bad Marvel decisions. As Andrew is showing you guys right now, it is finally time to get into Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1. Now I know, guys, we normally
like to end on a high note on this show, but this week we're not. Just spoiler alert.
Yeah, guys, and I know we're going a little over. I would say we're going to keep this short, but it's Spider-Man. You guys know this. This is going to go on for a time. So either way, we are here. We are ready to talk. We finally got our first issue of the very first Ultimate Universe revival crossover with the 616. I think we've talked about this on stream before, just in the lead up. I don't think either of us were excited for this.
No, because neither of us wanted anything to do with the 616 universe in the current. It's 6160.
Yeah, 6160.
Yeah, neither of us. I always confuse it with the original Ultimate Universe's numbers,
which is that's I like that though. They just flipped it 161 616. Like, I like that.
Neither of us wanted anything within current 616 universe to have anything to do with the current 6160 Ultimate Universe, because, like, with a couple of exceptions, we've both really largely enjoyed the current 6160 Ultimate Universe. Like, Ultimate Spider-Man is book of the week every single week it comes out.
Every time. Easy.
Every single time. I'm not reading Ultimate X-Men, but Matt is, and he is loving it.
Yes.
He is absolutely adoring it.
Black Panther's not good.
Yeah, Black Panther's the one that's like, oh, yeah, we're good. We're okay. Ultimates has, like, that first arc was, like, really good, and the second arc's just kind of dragged.
Did you
a bit?
Have you caught up to the recent issues? Because I know for the past couple releases we've been busy and we had other selections. Have you caught? So I'll say no. Issue
12 is in my stack right now.
All right, there it is.
Caught up. I am not ready yet.
Okay. Long story short, it gets back on pace.
Okay, good to know.
I think you'll like that one when you get to it.
Okay, that's good to know. Ultimate Wolverine has been really solid so far. It's had some issues where it's like, okay, that
This
wasn't
is
bad.
just
And then it's
yeah.
had some where it's like, whoa. Whoa.
Like, oh, hi, Phoenix. That with just a fucking brain chip
Yeah,
and Xavier hanging there as a brainstem. Okay, cool.
yeah. All right. So we're going a little crazy with this. But overall, the 6160 universe has been really, really good. 616, with only a few exceptions lately, has not. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you're my cousin and I love you, but I don't want you coming over right
Right.
now.
Oh,
Right?
sorry, we're
Like,
tired. The kids have school tomorrow. We'll
yeah, I
hang.
don't
I'll get
need
back to you. I'll hit you up.
you don't need the kids catching something and spreading that around the school. So how about like you just let me know when you're good
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
and
And
then
then
we'll
that
have
time,
you over for dinner and barbecue and whatnot, and it'll be all chill.
and it'll be fine.
We're not there yet
No.
with 616. 616 Spider-Man has been just bad. I don't we're led to believe, at least I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Spectacular Spider-Man is 616 universe, but it was a bleh book.
It
It had a couple
is,
of issues
and it's.
where like I read that first full arc and I was like, there were a couple of moments where I was like, okay, yeah, that was actually kind of a fun interaction.
But I
But
also feel like
overall,
half of that was you going like, I need to find something because I
I
want to
well,
keep
because it
going.
was Umberto Ramos,
I exactly, Humberto,
drawing,
and then
right?
Spidey. So you're
So
like, I want to go. I
I
want to
wanted to
like this.
I worked so hard to love that book, and I should not have to work hard to
No,
enjoy anything. I should just enjoy it, right? That doesn't mean like shutting off my brain.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
against being intellectual in order to think about something and reflect on something and then be like, oh, well, when I think
Oh,
about
da,
it
da, da.
from this angle and through this lens, like I actually really like that. I'm perfectly
Right.
fine
Oh yeah.
with approaching things from an intellectual angle, but Spectacular Spider-Man was not that. It was a very mid book from storytelling, and then it was involving a character I do not give a crap about, and it was presenting him as though he was Peter's equal. And I'm sorry, I don't care how many powers you give Miles Morales, he is not Peter's equal.
And he won't be like in realistic time unless you made a different universe where I don't know they're clones or they're the same age or like
Yeah.
just temporally like he will not be on the same level
When
as
you
Peter.
have decades of experience behind you, I'm sorry, you can have a couple of cool extra powers, that are totally ripped off of anime,
Ugh.
but you're not gonna be as skilled, you're not gonna be as good.
And we've seen it a lot in the 616 where the you see we what am I saying? The way they do that a lot in Spectacular and since Miles came over in Secret Wars is a lot of like you were saying, the other characters have to point out how cool he is.
Mhm.
Peter has to go, "Oh, you did like thank you for doing that." And it's like, why
Anytime
didn't you just do it, Pete? Like you would have done that. You've done it a million times.
I'm going to say this as somebody who is I would consider myself a student of writing
Yeah, I'd say so.
and a student of comic books. If you have to rely on your other in-universe characters to tell your audience that this character over here is really cool and way better than they
Or really
actually
bad
are.
or anything like
Yeah.
that.
If you have to rely on that rather than your readers just feeling that based on your writing and your storytelling quality, you're
You've
not doing your
you've
job right.
already messed up. Yeah, you've already from the jump screwed up your one job.
It's that Logan telling the readers, "Oh, Laura is Wolverine." It's that, having Peter tell the readers, "Miles Morales is Spider-Man."
Like
Like
you're so
I'm
much better than I was at that. Yeah, that
the
sort of shit.
second you have that type of a line in your story, you throw out me taking you seriously.
And of course, guys, there are ways you can do it right. If we want to stay here in Ultimate, I could see if one day Peter, gives the reins to Richards or to Richard, and he's like, "Hey, you're great. I've seen so much. Like
Yeah.
you're the better. Like you're not maybe not like you should be Spider-Man. Like he'll do
Well,
that, right? Like I can get
Richard
that.
is I think the difference there is Richard is learning from
Peter.
Peter as Peter is learning
That's true.
himself. and he's learning at a much younger age, and
That's
so
true.
he's
That's
able to
true.
retain that information and process it differently while being so much younger, and he's able to build off of that because
Yeah.
when we're in
And he's
our
like
in
13, even younger
yeah,
than 616 Pete was.
yeah, when we're in those information processing years, that's peak absorption of information. And so there's a reason why if you start trying to hone a skill at that age, if you continue along with it in a decade, you are going to inevitably, in almost all instances, be far superior
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
somebody at the same age who started only a couple of years ago, right?
Or even
Because
like, a month later than you'll
yeah,
probably be over them.
that's just biology. That's how our brains work, right? That's
Yes, yes.
okay. Like that works perfectly fine, both narratively and just that's science. But if you're just like telling your audience, having to tell your audience, having to rely on other characters, and it's always telegraphed. Marvel
Yep.
does it. DC has done it maybe once or twice, but Marvel has done it several
I
times
feel like
where
with DC, their reason, because like I see him, like there are a couple times when Batman did it or whatever to like Tim or Damian. I
well, there
feel
was
like,
that line with Batman with Bruce saying one day you'll be the world's greatest
oh
detective
yeah,
with Tim.
yeah, yeah, with
That
Tim,
line felt organic.
right?
That I bought.
And that's what I was getting at. Like with DC, even in those moments where it comes off bad, I feel like they're more genuinely trying to do like a good torch pass scene instead of just doing
DC
it
is
to.
also just much better with legacy in general.
They really are. I can't think of
Marvel doesn't know
many.
how to do legacy.
We've got Miles. Like, great. All
Great.
right.
Most of it. How many times has this book been rebooted?
Dude, I can't even count that high at this point. Between the original like 1610 and now the 6160 and the 616, who even knows at
They
this point?
literally had to, when they were in the process of destroying his universe, they had to bring him into the main Marvel universe in order to have an excuse
Or
to keep
fucking
his
did
title
they?
going.
Or fucking
What?
did they? As we will.
Yeah, we'll get there. Go.
Yeah, we should.
Let's continue.
Let's get into it because
My
we have
God.
so much to talk about. Yeah, obviously, guys, at the base, what we're about to get into is really, really, really. It's not like I don't feel maliciousness from anybody, but it feels
No,
really
it's not
bad.
malicious.
Like
it's just like, wow, that's
bad.
weak.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really weak.
you're just, and lots of like that doesn't make sense. Why are you doing that? So yeah, if you guys might remember, the Ultimate Universe kicked off all those years ago, and I believe I actually have it right here ready to go. If you guys give me a second. Mark the Cuddy Sark says, hello from Western Australia. Hello. How's it going
Hello.
down there?
Welcome
That's
in.
awesome. Oceania. I don't think we've ever had anybody from Oceania,
Yeah,
or at least somebody that's commented.
That's what. Yeah,
And
I
you know,
guess that's
I
true.
wish I could. I want to like connect with him more and ask him questions, but it's like I actually don't know what the American comic book distribution stuff is over in Australia. Like, do you guys get
That's a good
our
question.
same
I have
books?
no idea.
I genuinely do not know.
Maybe
And it's kind of cool.
maybe you and he share the same Pakistani friend.
We might have the same Pakistani friend. I'm glad he's going worldwide. He really deserves it for all the years of good. Well, I wouldn't say good comics he's given me, but of comics he's given me. But yes, if you guys remember, long ago, a couple years ago, we started off the Ultimate Universe with the maker, who was the original Ultimate Reed Richards, broke bad. He decides, long story short, Ultimate Universe made the jump to 616, like most people did. And he decided, you know what? I am going to go back. Like, I am going to recreate the world, and I'm going to make it right. Because I don't know how much all of the readers out there, or even you, Andrew, know about the maker's sort of motivations, because he did start as Ultimate Reed Richards, but the break was after, I believe, Ultimatum or the death of Cap. Reed started going like why is this world so bad? Like, this isn't a good world. We should be able to make a good world where nobody is suffering. So it's
Which
that,
on its face is an interesting concept because
right.
the ultimate universe, that first Ultimate Marvel universe, was much more bleak and dark and edgy than the 616 Marvel universe. And
Yeah.
Reed was also much younger
Oh no,
in that
he's
universe.
still
Like he was
supposed
a
to be.
freaking he was a
He's
kid basically.
he's very much a kid, and he's still
Like I think I have my copies of my I only have the first 3 trades of Ultimates.
yeah.
Um so I have the what was it? Who Killed the Scarlet Witch
Uh,
and Ultimate Power, which is drawn by our favorite artist, right? Or
I
rather
know.
traced by our
Double.
traced by our favorite artist. I forget the name of the other one, but I've got those in one of these short boxes here that are
Yeah.
lining my wall. But yeah, Ultimate Reed was like super young. He was practically a kid, right? He was like what, early 20s at oldest?
I think he was only like 19. Like at the time he breaks bad and the world goes to shit in 1610, I think he's only like 19. He's really, really young. But that is a problem that we'll talk about in like when we flip back over to Ultimate Incursion, because there are artists who will draw him right and make him young, same like with Miles, and there are others who just don't know how to draw not a grown male. And I think that really throws off a lot of where we are. So yeah, guys, origin point of the entire 6160, the maker decides, I'm going to go back. Like, I'm going to try again. I'm going to make the right world. He appears to as he's doing it, as his machine is firing up, he pays a visit to Miles because he goes, oh, do you know that you and I are the only 2 survivors of a dead universe? Because that's what happened at the end of Secret Wars. Maker got out by his own cleverness. Miles got the favor from the Molecule Man. And he, at this time, Miles goes, yeah, did you not know we were different, like from a different universe? And so the maker goes, well, we're like brothers. Like, do you want to come home with me? And Miles goes, no, I'm good. And so the maker leaves him a card. It's blank.
Darn it. We had an opportunity there. We had an out.
We could have gotten him out of here. It could have been great. We could have gotten 616 back on track, but no, we can't have good things anymore. So the only reason I bring that up is because that inflection point is way too important to everything that breaks down here. And it's also,
it's because they rewrite and
that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, they
Incursion.
really fuck over all of this.
Like
so
they're trying to do the same scene and they completely change it.
It's so bad. So yes, first of all, before we get into this, this cover sucks. This is a bad cover. This is not an exciting cover, especially if this is your big crossover, or it should be your big crossover. I would expect your what's his name? Ivan, or who's the guy? Whoever did Civil War. I know you don't like him, but he's fancy. He's big. He does big pieces, right? Your Peaches, your Marquezes. Well, Marquez did a variant for this. This is how I know this isn't a book. Like, they're not marketing it right. It doesn't have a Peach variant. All their books get Peach variants. Like, how do you do a big book? And it fucking, what was it we were just talking, not Invasion, whatever the new, what is the new event, that we were talking about? Imperial, right?
Yeah,
like,
Imperial.
Same thing there. And it's just, I don't even know where I was going with that one because I was trying to get to Imperial too hard. But
there are a lot of things that bug me about this cover, not the least of which is what they did with, like, I don't like Miles at all. For those of you who are in my Discord, I off about how I would fix Miles as a character.
Or if you have just met us for the first time in this 3 seconds.
Right. I don't like how the artist did his eyes there. It looks super weird. I don't like the angle that like.
Well, he's trying to do like the DreamWorks face, like like that's what he's trying.
It doesn't come through well at all.
Well, that's also a problem with his stupid suit, right? Like, and the weird eye things they have on there. Hey, Oki, how's it going? Always a pleasure to see you. It is rolling well. We are getting into one of the worst books we have read in a long time.
Yeah, it's true. There's no background on this piece. None of these characters appear in this book, aside from Miles
Spider-Man,
and Peter.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I wish that instead there are alternate covers that, in fact, I'm pretty sure I had one of them pre-ordered and it's coming through Midtown.
Nice.
But there's an alternate cover that has just Miles, Peter, and Richard on it, and that's a cool looking cover. But like, Iron Lad appears in one panel in this book, I think. And Ultimate Wolverine doesn't appear at all. Neither does Ultimate Black Panther.
And
Neither does Ultimate Storm.
Yeah, like this it's
Like,
dumb.
why are you here?
Really, why? It's to sell it, but it's still like a bad image. It's not like, even when this came up, guys, and you know it's up for pre-order. Yeah, I'm getting it because it's cover A, but I went, this
Like,
is
your cover
really
A is your
bad.
main
Right.
cover. That's what should be marketing your book.
And
That's
this
what
is,
should be selling your audience on this.
and this is what I want. This is what I told to Andrew to really sell it. So this is by Sarah Pacelli, who I just have to admit now is probably cooked, because I don't remember the last time we looked at something from her and I didn't bring up like what happened. What happened? Her days of
Yeah.
like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Ultimate Event, like it's gone. I don't know what happened, but it's gone. Because normally we raise like, oh, maybe she got screwed by the inker, yada yada. We've had a lot of discussions about that. This piece that you're looking at right here, the colorist on this piece is Tamara Bonvillain, who, if you don't know that name, she is Dan Mora, our one of our top artists here, DC superstar. She is his main colorist. You can see the colors of her work. Like, her lightning is pretty good. The way the like glow is coming off.
She has really good colors. She's not my favorite colorist in
No,
mainstream
but
comics,
she's good.
but she is a strong, solid colorist. Like, you have to have pretty weak line art
Exactly.
for her colors to not come through as strong.
It is shocking that her colors make like, this piece still looks flat with her colors, and that's what I told Andrew. I'm like, it has to be like pencils at this point. It's not even that complicated of a thing. There's no shading. It's just profiles, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
Yeah, because when you do a cover like this with zero background, all you have is just a gradient color background. Like, that is as basic and bare bones as it gets, aside from having literally nothing. Like when the all in DC books were launching, right? Where it was literally just
one or whatever.
Nothing. Where it's
those ones.
A blank
those were
background, and it's just one character, right? And that's it. Like, that's when you're doing that, you're not having to take into account ambient lighting. You're not having to take into account reflective lighting or anything like that. There is nothing at all to have to take into account.
And like, look at
and
how
you're
much,
doing nothing with it.
Look at how much empty space there is, right? Like, above Peter and Maystorm's hand, like Peter's shoulders and Maystorm's hand. That's an entire almost like fourth of the cover. That is just three bolts of lightning and a web. That is insane to me. Again, that the cover that you guys, so the one that Andrew was talking about, the variant, is the one we used for our thumbnail tonight. That should have been A. Like, just, there's also another really good cover that I didn't see. I'm gonna go pick it up because,
especially consider this is called Ultimate Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Why would you not just focus on the 3 spider characters?
You can even do something super cool, or like basic and cool, where it's just like a half thing, right? Like half Peter, half Miles. Awesome. Could have been cool.
Yeah.
Or even take it further, like Andrew was saying, and do the 3 of them, right? Like, do the thing where like Peter's like up in front, and then like Miles is behind him, and then Richard or something, right? Like, could have been cool. This is really, really bad. Okay, so Oki, do not worry. We're
about to get to that.
We have literally not made it past the cover yet. Like, do not worry. This is how bad this book is,
we'll
guys.
get there.
So, as I showed you guys in the Ultimate Invasion issue, Miles got, we opened with a recap of Miles just going, this is what happened. I got thrown from the 616, or from Ultimate to 616. Maker came to visit me. I threw away his card. Now, do you want to do it? Okay, I was going to say, when do you want to do this?
Quick note on this page. For those of you scratching your heads,
I'm trying to
keep screen.
Whoop.
No, this is not just the light off of my ring light making this page look weird. This is a misprint on this page where the colors are washed out, all of the blacks are gone, and the blacks from the text, the copy, the dialogue boxes are gone.
Readable.
They're white in all of these boxes, all of these dialogue and caption boxes. They're fine here in the normal dialogue bubbles, right? But in the caption boxes,
where Miles is talking,
white, it's white text, it's white copy.
It's so
That's a massive misprint. And I will say, it's not like that's unheard of. It does happen. However, some people like to pretend like it never happens unless it's from a publisher that they hate. And it's really weird. Guys, every single week, as somebody who goes into their LCS every single Wednesday, usually around 3:15 in the afternoon, I have at least one book in my stack, whether it's part of my pull list or something I pulled off of the shelf that has some sort of a typo or a misprint.
Yeah.
There's always at least one. Sometimes it might be something super benign.
And you know
right?
what, guys? We get different ones sometimes. Like Andrew will be like, "Oh, what do you like?" I'll find issues in the digital one that don't exist in the
Yeah.
physical. I'll be like, "Did you see this?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
And
sometimes it'll be completely different from the digital to the physical edition. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. Sometimes typos happen. Sometimes printing errors happen. It is the thing. There are massive publishers with, novels, long version prose novels who will print pages out of order or upside down. I kid you not, this isn't a joke.
yeah,
Like people who are massive fans of Brandon Sanderson, even who is a very well-regarded author, like sometimes his books get screwed up in the print phase. It happens. It
I
sucks.
mean-
I'm sorry, but it's not just people that you don't like.
I mean, here's the thing the one that I think. So obviously, we're talking shit on everybody who said, "Oh, the RIPPAVERSE, is the worst because they had one misprint." Like, oh, what the fuck? They do it every time. It's stupid. Because I remember, Andrew, as you should, when I pre-ordered the omnibuses for DC, Marvel, and the Amalgam Universe, they had to fucking trash the entire initial run on
They
their own
trashed
dime
the entire line
because
the
of a
entire
misprint.
run.
We don't even know what it was, guys. But it wasn't
Mhm.
like, oh, we put in. That's insane. That is money that they lost. They probably didn't even profit on it because of that.
Mhm.
So this is not just Rippa. This is not just the guy you hate. This is a very common thing everywhere. All right, like it is so common. Everybody, shut the hell up. We can laugh. We can
It's
laugh
something
at
that's
it.
part
but-
and parcel with printing, honestly.
And Mark, that's a great point. Imagine how many books every week are being reviewed prior to printing. Crazy quantities. Well, you get that, and then just like for example, this one that Andrew and I caught in here, or that Andrew caught, doesn't even feel like a typo. It feels like somebody's autocorrect misfired, right? Because the typo, as I have up here, is Miles says, quote, "Is that wild to say? Feels wild to say. I've had so much thrown at me recently, but I've been able to handle it as best as I can, mostly."
Which obviously we all know that's supposed to be the
Able.
word able.
Right. So it's
Right.
like a T, that's far. I feel like that was just, I told Andrew, like somebody wrote the script on their iPad and
Yeah,
didn't, and
their
then just
iPad
didn't,
or their iPhone.
where it'll
and-
auto do it, and then they just let it go. Yes, we would like a world where we had all the resources and time to hit all of that, but especially in terms of something like Marvel or DC, they got a lot going on. So
I'm gonna tell you guys something. Here's a little inside baseball as somebody who is a comic book editor. When the human brain is an incredible piece of whatever you want to call it, whether you believe it to be a piece of creation, whatever,
Right.
it is an
is
incredible
crazy.
thing. We will look at something and our brains will fix things in real time as we're looking at them. And unless we stare at them for 8 days, we won't realize that something
Yeah.
is spelled incorrectly
Oh,
because our brain is correcting it in real time. This is why you try to have multiple editors
Yep.
on things, because especially when you're looking at something multiple times over and over and over, you know what something's supposed to look like and what it's supposed to say in the text, in the copy, and your brain therefore automatically does that. It corrects it in here.
Yep.
Even if it's not correct on the page, you will look at it and you will see, yep, that's good. Not because you're an idiot or blind, but because your brain
you've just
literally
been
is
in the
that,
material too long. Yeah.
it's that advanced and incredible of a piece of biology to where it just fixed it in your mind, and the way you saw it through your eyeballs, it looked
made
perfect.
sense, right?
It looked
It made
fine.
sense to you because your brain
Right?
went, "We got this." Like it's supposed to. it's like that experiment or that psych thing they always do where if you, what is it, like they put the letters like the first and the last are the same or whatever, but you jumble up everything inside and your brain can like basically
and your brain
pick it
can
up.
fix it.
Right.
I have taken some of those like little tests, and I've always been baffled. Like, holy crap!
Oh
like,
yeah, same. Like, oh, I just
looked at
read
it
that. Holy shit!
afterwards,
Yeah.
where they're like, because what they'll do is they'll like space out the letters a little bit more
Oh,
each
yeah.
time, and they'll be like, now look at how like it's spelled the exact same way, but because the letters were close together, right? Your brain automatically
Like,
fixed it.
clunk, clunk.
But when they spread it out a little bit
Like,
more, you're like,
just
oh
that
my
one point,
god!
and you guys can see it. Like there will be one word where it's like all spaced, and you're like, I got a pixel, and you go, oh fuck, like what the hell? Like that now it's not clicking.
It's absolutely incredible.
So it happens, guys. Like it happens in comic books. It happens
And
when I
this
write
didn't
articles.
ruin the book for me. What ruined the book for me was the story.
Oh my god, yeah, let's get into that. But yeah, it was just on its face, guys. I don't know if you've been able to talk to anybody, Andrew. I still haven't seen if anybody's had this same error in their Incursion issues. Mine's not here yet because it's coming from Midtown.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big takeaway here is that's pretty fucking brutal. And if that was everything, that's a big one on Marvel because it's not just the typo. It's that it's washed. You barely can see anything. Your character is in a full black suit.
Yeah.
And you didn't use the black
I'll show it
inks.
again.
Yeah.
Where,
like,
guys,
and look at the page next to it. You can see Miles's like shadows and everything.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's so weird. I do not get it.
It's wild. And so you actually never responded to my question earlier. That final page or second to last page where there was no text in all these bubbles. Did your version have text?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It
did?
is. Yeah, let me just pull it up wherever that page is.
It's the second to last page of the issue.
Second to last page of the issue.
It's right before that.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jan
so
okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there's text there.
There is
text there.
Yeah. Or I mean, yeah, there is.
Mine doesn't have it. It's just empty bubbles.
Wow. It is just empty
bubbles, ladies and gentlemen.
That is it also like the black wash ink?
And it's washed out too, just like that first page. And so I was looking at it, I'm like, is this, because I was questioning myself, I'm like, am I crazy? Like, is this supposed to be just some like
is
there's some crazy
internal
monologue going on right now, and we're just not privy to it. We don't get to see what he's thinking because we don't get to do that in comics.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
even though that's always been a thing.
Never heard anybody's internal thoughts.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just blank ass bubbles. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? So yeah, so that was again that's 2 pages that are massive misprints.
That's bad.
Where I don't have dialogue on one of those. Like, and again, guys, like, yes, that's bad, that's crazy. But what I want to put into people's heads is that that's not unheard of.
It's not. Even though we're freaking out about it.
Not even from Marvel or
happens.
DC, that's not unheard of. What they'll do is when they inevitably do the second
trade,
print run of this.
Or that, yeah.
And obviously the trade, they'll fix it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And this one will obviously get a second printing. It's a #1 of a crossover issue between Spider-Man. Like this thing's probably already sold out. Like, let's just be honest, quality aside. Because of the damn speculators.
At least they're following the golden rule of show, don't tell. That's good. That's pretty good.
You know what?
I appreciate that. I appreciate
that would balance out the rest of the book, as we'll get into, which is all tell.
Yeah, I was about to say the entire
show.
Issue is tell and no show.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to the front. We'll go back to the beginning. So, long story short. Okay, first, we cannot spend 40 minutes on this first page like we were doing earlier.
No, we can't. We can't.
This will be the only thing. I will be
We're
good,
already
Andrew.
over 2 hours.
I know. I will be very good about this. It's the only thing. In this page, Miles recounts, like, Molecule Man put me in 616. Maker visited me. I threw away his card. If you guys remember, as I was reading and recapping Ultimate Invasion, Miles says, the Maker goes, do you know we're from 2 different universes? like, or like we are from a dead universe. And Miles hits him with like that very teenage, like, did you not know? Like clearly Miles and Maker are the only two people who remembered all of that shit. Like, it's very, very clear. And then all of a sudden here we get, it's in panel 3 in Miles's journal entry. He's like, oh, I don't really remember everything. It feels like, you know, did I lose everything? Did I lose something? I know I'm from somewhere else. And I'm like, no, that is not what you asshole said.
Pick one, bro.
And it makes me mad because that idea of like Miles and Maker being the only two people who know, that's good writing. And I think that could do a lot for Miles, right? Like, it's, who do I tell? Who do I talk to? The fucking Maker. Okay, I guess I have to, because he's just the only person around to help me sort through this. And then you could have him have a, you know, one of those arcs where he like ends up working with Maker against his better judgment. So many things you could have done here. And it just makes me mad that you went for, I don't really know anymore. Like, but yes. So
for no reason whatsoever.
Big change there to the overall Ultimate Universe narrative. But yeah, as the plot progresses, what happens is Billy, Miles's little sister, finds that card just sitting in the trash can, and it opens up, it pops open, and she falls into Earth 1610. Now, I liked this, Andrew, because it made me go, oh, that's why Peter is so fucking smarter than you, and like why he's a better Spider-Man. Because Miles is leaping, and he has a suit that like does the like Danny Phantom style, like comes up him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work unless it's fully on you. So he's trying to reach his sister, and he's trying to shoot a web, and he even mentions like, I need a quarter of a second and my suit will be on. But if it was Peter, he would have had his web shooters.
He would have already had him.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, I'll give you guys that one. That you get one. You got one. So then Billy,
this is about all you get in this.
It really is. So then Billy pops out into the Ultimate Universe, is found by somebody, we do not know who.
No, don't know who.
Meanwhile, in New York, all of a sudden, the father-son spider duo start getting they encounter the ultimate Spot, which obviously this is synergy playing off of the Across the Spider-Verse movie, because that is those two movies, like the stories in there are all Miles has, is that first story where he becomes Spider-Man and his uncle dies, and then fighting Spot and going into the multiverse. It's very clearly forced synergy here. That being said, I'll say this at least, Andrew. I like the spooky, like Zelda. What are those guys called? The not the Stalfos, but the Redeads, right? Like the
the Redeads. Yeah,
like I like that face, like this more scully face for Spot, because you guys know, if you've seen the movie or read the comics, normally it's just Spots.
Spot's kind of a goofy character.
Yeah, he's more goofy back then, but now you give him a little bit of a more serious edge. And then I also like, there is a moment, I'm sure we'll get by it, but we find out, how did he get his powers? He stole Cloak's, like Cloak and Dagger, he stole Cloak's box. And I was like, ooh, I think that's interesting. Okay, cool. At least it's not just like, I'm Spot, yay. It was like, you're playing with that. I don't even remember the last time we saw a box, like an origin box, right? Like, it's been a long time. So
it's been like since like month 2.
Yeah, honestly, after they got or after Hawkeye stole like Clint's box or whatever, because Clint didn't want it.
So like maybe like month 3 or 4.
Still a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Yeah.
But yes, with the Spot's appearance, at the same time, Miles pops on through the door, the card or whatever, and he is now in the Ultimate Universe. He has a fight with Spot, puts him down, webs him up, and then he goes, oh, hey, what's it going? Meets with the other spiders, Peter and Richard, asks them for help with finding Billy, and we are off to the races. What did you think about this moment, Andrew? I'm very genuinely torn on it, because right here, when Miles meets Peter and Richard, he's introducing himself like, hi, I'm Spider-Man, and he looks over at Richard and goes, please don't tell me your name is Venom. And he goes, no, but that's not a bad name. And so it's like, now Richard is Ultimate Venom. I
was actually pretty conflicted on that line as well, because on one hand I was like, he's not technically wrong, because we don't know if that's supposed to be like this universe's
like Venom
version
symbiote,
of that specific symbiote, right? The Venom symbiote. But I think I'm not opposed to it. at least on paper.
I
But at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time, in practice, I don't know how much I like it or not. I'm not sold.
It
I'm
feels
kind of
like one
torn.
of those Barry was the lightning moments, right? Like,
Yeah.
but this one is even less organic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's bugging me about it. Because yeah, I don't think I'm
Mm.
against it on paper, but the fact that it's like so on the nose, I don't know.
All right.
Weird.
And it was like it relied on somebody from a completely different universe to give
Yeah.
them the idea. And
Well, maybe this is one of those things where it's like we have to see how the movie ends, and then we'll have like a better read of it. We'll get back to you on this one, guys. But from there, the spider trio goes off to look for Billy. They are talking, while they're looking, they are talking about their histories, what they're up to. And this is where Andrew and I really break, or not break with each other, but like this is where where the issue really, really loses us. Because everything we just complained about, yes, they're complaints, but if you've watched Foil Variant before, we can deal with some level of crap.
we can talk and deal with some stuff. Right.
And like some retcon, if that doesn't make sense, we'll go, yeah, it sucks, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
This right here, this is where everything goes super, super downhill. Yeah, it does evoke the Spider-Man 3 version. With
he absolutely just looks like the black suit from Spider-Man 3. There's no question about that.
Which is fine. I like that one, actually. I really liked it. But so as they're patrolling the city, Richard starts. Okay, obviously Miles has been at this way longer than Ultimate Peter and Ultimate Richards. That's fine.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong.
Ultimate Peter's been at this for like a year and a half at most.
At most, and then Miles, let's be generous, we'll say like
half a year.
Or Miles? No, Miles has been at it long. Oh, Richard.
Oh no,
half
sorry.
A year.
I thought you meant
Richard half a year.
Yeah, Richard
has
like half a year.
Been at it for like, let's say like 3 or 4 years or something like that
let's say
between
a
his
handful of
universes, right? So it makes sense that he does have a better handling of web slinging, of hero direction, of leaping into a fight with the Spot. That I don't think anybody, even if you don't like Miles, I think we can all say cards where they're dealt make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
From there, while they're patrolling, Richard starts, seeing Miles being very assertive, being very cool, and he starts fanboying over him, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. We've seen books before where characters are like, whoa, you're so cool, to whatever effect. The problem, as Andrew and I were talking about earlier, and as Oki led us right into, oh, not that one. Oh, no, wait, that is the right one. As Oki led us into, the way they have Richard fanboy here is way too, I am saying it because it has to be said. Right? So there's a lot of...
I'm saying it to try and convince the audience of what I'm saying.
Yes.
Rather than the character themselves, through their actions, convincing the audience of what they're trying to forcibly have this other character say.
And for example, so from this point on in the book, it keeps happening, but this is probably where Richard, fanboys meta, in a meta sense too hard, because, quote, "Can you believe how cool he is, Dad? Like when he says, I'm Spider-Man, it sounds right, like it fits. Look at how he swings, so smooth and natural." Or how he
if I was Peter, I'd be like, bro, the hell am I, chopped liver?
Right. But like Richard is just kind of telling us like he is cool, he is skilled, he is this. And as we, longtime viewers of us will know, or just general comic book readers, Miles, ever since they said Miles can be a marketing tool, he doesn't have a character anymore. And so all of this is just, I am going to tell you that he is very cool. Let's roll with that being the premise. And especially 616, it just doesn't work because we know Peter. We know all of that. So it's very, very, it is exactly what Andrew said. It reads as Marvel trying to go, see, even the white Spider-Man Jr. thinks he's the coolest, right? Your universe, or the universe you guys love, they acknowledge he's the better, Spider-Man. And we see it, it's transparent. And it's just come on, stop.
You're not hiding it very well, guys.
Not at all. But then
you're not even trying.
It gets even worse because, so Peter, in response to Richard, fanboying, he kind of goes like, well, what about me? Like, I'm pretty good as Spider-Man. Like, I've got a wife and I've got kids. I can't be carefree and swing around. So now, in a script sense, on paper, that kind of an interaction could be something Peter does, especially if he's doing it from sort of a more fun angle, right? Like, oh, what about me? Like, I'm your dad. And instead of being serious, he would be like, what about that time I stopped the Rhino in Mayday or something? Would be like, Dad, he was, strapped into the chair by Itty Bitty or something.
Well, you think playful Peter, like how he was interacting with May, right? When in that scene on the rooftop where he's going through the different costume changes and she makes fun of him a little bit here and there, like, oh God, Dad, you're so old, right? Like things like that, that works. The way that he ends up being written here just comes across as he's being like whiny and petty because Richard is forcibly telling us that Miles is super cool.
Yeah.
Right? When it's like, again, the issue is not the fact that Miles is the more experienced in this specific scenario,
or
because
even
he
that Richard
literally
likes it.
is.
Yeah.
It's them really trying to say rather than show, tell rather than show, oh, Miles is way more experienced. So Miles is way cooler. And Richard is the mouthpiece for that, right? Through Richard, they're trying to convince us. And I'm not convinced because even though, yes, well, it may be true in a literal sense that Miles, original Ultimate Universe Miles, now living in 616 universe, is certainly more experienced and skilled than this universe's Peter. That doesn't make him cooler than this universe's Peter. This universe's Peter is juggling way more, in my opinion.
Right.
And he on top of that, he's also juggling things that we've wanted out of 616 Peter for
ages.
He's
married again. He has kids again. Like,
he's showing us that it can be done and done well, and fans love it because the book sells hand over fist every single month that it drops.
The sales stat that still blows my mind was Volume 2, like the trade, dropped mid-March.
Yeah, the trade.
And it fucking topped the month's chart. Like
it killed everything else.
It had 12 days on the charts, guys, and it blew it all out of the water. That is in like manga, it was insane. So yeah, people love this. And so like I told you this, but you can do fanboying in a way that doesn't come off as like I'm trying to convince you. You have Richard go like, whoa, or like, Dad, did you see that? Like, oh, Dad, how come you never, you did like a web pull thing move or whatever. You can have him say things like that communicate he's in awe without him going out and being like, oh, that's the best guy ever. What a guy. And they are trying too hard. And then with the Peter thing, yeah, like you pointed out, Oki, there's a difference between teasing and vitriol, and Pete's response here is more like, oh, instead of being like, yeah, my kid, of course, is liking the new hotness, and he, especially because he's like near his age, he's like getting actually resentful, right? Like, what the fuck, kid? And it's like, whoa, Peter wouldn't do that at all, like ever. He would encourage Richard, if anything, be like, yeah, that Spider knows what he's doing. You look up to him. Go get some freaking lessons from him so that we can survive better out fighting Sandman or something. So this is that right here. All of this is where Andrew and I just started going, this book is shit. Like, this is a bad book.
It mischaracter. Well, it misrepresents events, right? When it comes to recalling events from the ultimatum stuff. Yeah. And then the way that it's not character assassination. I think that gets thrown around a little too flippantly, but Peter definitely is not acting like Peter.
It's ignoring what the Peter is we have, right? It definitely feels
we
like
have a far more mature Peter here.
Yeah, and
we have an adult Peter.
This feels like they took 616 Peter and then like did a story where like he woke up the next day as like a dad, and now he's like trying to calibrate himself in this new reality while also trying to take everything in.
Yeah,
like in the Spectacular Spider-Man arc when Gwen was alive again and everything was great and then Miles was home. Oh my God, I can't believe I remembered that.
This doesn't feel like the Peter that we've had for the last almost dozen and a half issues now, who like has protected his family, um, and not just a wife, but two children, two young children, while trying to learn how to become a superhero
Yeah.
in a
And
world
navigating those
where
children. They're at that age. Like Richard's teenager, May's
in a
8-year-old.
yeah, in a world where superheroes are looked at as terrorists,
Yeah.
nonetheless, right? So he's juggling a lot, and you have to be incredibly mature and sure of yourself and have your head screwed on right in order to navigate that kind of a complex situation.
Right.
And this Peter 6160 has navigated that situation about as well as anybody could possibly be expected to, if not better. But all of a sudden now he's acting like current, and I mean like
Like amazing current.
this current 616
we,
Peter.
we didn't have to talk about that book this week. I'm so happy.
Yeah, thank God. But you get what I'm saying, right?
No,
Like he's
1000%.
acting like that, where he's super immature, he's out of character, he's not acting like he's one of the most intelligent beings on the planet. He's kind of acting like a petty,
He's
immature
kind of acting
idiot.
like old 616 Peter, which is
Yeah.
weird. Like this exchange here, guys. Peter goes, "You know what I think is weird? Your own father being your second favorite Spider-Man. I think that's weird. So who's your favorite father, huh? Uncle Ben, your English teacher, that college student who baby." It feels weird. It feels too personal. Like it feels like he's like really getting angry about it. And
it feels very Gen Z passive aggressive.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whiny. Like what are we doing here, man? Like this dude's like in his 30s.
Easy.
He's an adult.
I mean, how old are you? They took your likeness for it, so just 1-to-1.
I'm still waiting on my check.
And you are way past the point where you would act like this. And if you did act like this
Thank
and
God.
we called you out, you would be like, okay, you were right. Like I was being a little
Yeah.
asshole.
Why am I acting like I'm 13? Right?
So just, not character assassination, but one of those instances where they're not like, I'm sure everybody read everything because it's not that deep of a line yet, but I don't know if they really engaged or understood what Hickman was up to, which it's Hickman. I don't know. But from there, we kind of close out with Miles. He's like, I really need to find my sister. Like, I'm freaking out, blah, blah, blah. The Makers Council all independently receive notification that there was a burst of energy. And they're all going, oh shit, it was Maker energy, which it actually was because it was that card. And so all of them go, we don't know what it is, but if it's the Maker, I want it. Like, I don't care if it's like a weapon or an enemy, like it needs to be ours. And it's all the different factions. So Captain Britain, the Fury LMD, Hulk. It's pretty, I just like seeing them all again. They didn't really do much. It's kind of a very basic scene. Just like, oh yeah. We're all going to get it. Like, yeah, I want it.
It's just scene jump to scene jump to scene jump.
Yeah, very much. And then of course we get the Ultimates who are hanging out, and they get the same energy signature. So eventually, Peter and Richard are like, we got to go home. I have he has school. I have to take care of my family. Miles says, cool. I'm gonna keep looking. Talk to you guys tomorrow. As he continues, going across New York, he goes to his old house. Or his house where it should be. It's not there. Doing the whole multiversal rigmarole. Finding everything is weird and different. And then at the very end, you don't know this, Andrew, but at the very end.
Yeah, I've not seen this dialogue because my copy doesn't have any dialogue in those bubbles.
So, at the very end here, we have Captain America when he said, we got to go send somebody to bring him to the Ultimates. He said, I'm sending 2 agents. And he doesn't say who, and we get it at the very end. It turns out to be Jan and Hank, which is, okay, I don't have a problem with either of them being chosen. It really doesn't matter who you send. This fucking poster, if you see something, say something. The terrorists are not your friends. You just pointed out, Ultimates are terrorists. We have seen across all the issues that you're caught up on in Ultimates that they are like guerrilla warfaring this extreme, like, America portals them in, portals them out immediately. Like they are not, like they are secret. And so in the middle of fucking New York, Jan sizes out.
Yeah, like she just embiggens to frickin' the size of a skyscraper. Like, okay, so we're just throwing all like sneakiness
Well, like,
and conspicuation out the window.
there's this moment here when Miles is like running around, and admittedly it looks like it's on the other side of the bridge, but he sees the Maker Council things, like the digital things. So they're around. Like I don't know why there would be no point in doing this, right? Like this would be like
that's like being in a almost pitch black area that you're trying to sneak around through, and you have night vision goggles that you can effectively sneak around with without alerting enemies to your presence.
Right.
But you choose to light up a Roman candle anyway.
Yeah, not just like turn on a light, like, oh, I'm gonna make all the noise possible. I'm gonna make the biggest display. You could have had this same scene, like with the same level of effect of like, oh shit, it's them. If it was just Jan and Hank like appearing before him, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey kid, what are you doing? You could even had more fun with it if they both went like tiny and they popped up in front of his face, and Miles was like, two tiny talking people. What the fuck? Like that would have been cool. But now you've given away yourself in the middle of New York, where the Maker's agents are. This is
like, who's not gonna see that?
And this is sort of like, it wraps to what we were saying. Like, nobody is engaging with what we're actually doing in this universe. This is what Jan in 616 would do.
This universe is far smarter than what this book is being written as.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that's
this book right now is a really, really strong masterclass in showcasing the contrast between levels of writing, and you're only able to tell a story as smart as you are.
Yes,
and
I'm glad you used that line, because I was going to bring
Jonathan Hickman is a very smart guy. Sometimes he's a little too smart, and then he gets a little too big for his britches and goes full Hickman. But that being said, when he's measured, he can write incredibly intelligent, well-crafted, multi-layered stories, and that's why the current 6160 Ultimate Universe at Marvel has worked so well overall so far, because he's the overall architect. He is the maker of this universe, and it's worked very well because he's being more or less measured with it. This comes in and is somebody I'm not familiar enough with the writer to like make a personal individual judgment, but in terms of the writing ability,
except you are. That's the scary, or not the scary part. The writing team is, okay, you know half of it. One, it's Dennis Camp. It's our Ultimates writer, who's actually really on the, maybe not in the same like cerebral smart level as Hickman, but look at
Dennis
what he wrote
Camp can write.
Yeah, look at, he did an issue that was all, what, that poem one where it was all splash pages, where you and I went, this is bad, that you can't do this like unless you know what you're doing. And we walked away from it going, oh shit, he does know what he was doing. He kind of knows what he's doing. But then the other writer is Cody Ziegler, he's been the guy who's been in charge of Miles ever since he came back to ever since he was folded to the 616. So that's exactly. So you have Dennis.
I guarantee this is what happened. So what happened is Dennis Camp wrote an outline for what was supposed to happen in this book. And when I say an outline, I said, here are the major story beats of this issue. And then it was that outline was passed along to Cody Ziegler, and Cody Ziegler was the one that actually scripted the thing through. And Cody Ziegler is not half as intelligent as Dennis Camp, and certainly not Jonathan Hickman. And that's why this feels so out of place intellectually with the rest of this universe right now.
It is.
That's what happened. I almost guarantee.
I know you are. I know you're.
I would put
you're
money on it.
Oh yeah, I'll bet everything we've put into this show, which is time, but whatever. I would bet all of it that you are 100% correct, because it is just so disconnected. It feels like it's a 616 story over a 1610 story or a 6160, and it is and
a mid 616 story too.
It is. Oh, it's so. I don't know where you go from here that makes me more excited, like that can excite me, right? I want to see what they do with the X-Men, but that's not necessarily because I think it's going to be good. I just need to see A, do they get out unscathed, or B, how badly are you fucking like their timeline up? And yeah, it's just, I think the overall thing, guys, is like, we are a year and a half into this. There was no reason outside, given that
you didn't have to cross 616
right,
into this
given that it's so young and that everybody pretty much loves everything that's coming out of it, it is so very apparent that this was a marketing, let's see if we can, push Miles more crap. It doesn't feel
well, this
organic.
was an attempt to fix what wasn't broken.
Honestly, yeah.
We need, if anything, maybe it was a lot of the 616 books aren't doing too great right now. Maybe we need to try and latch them on to the horse that is running well.
That's exactly it. And it's so transparent.
But what you do when you do that is you drag down the horse that's running well.
Right, exactly. And here's my thing. Once we get to the end of this book, obviously it has to be some level of canon. They didn't say it's, out of place or anything. So that means they have two options. We either have to play with the cards we're dealt off of Ziegler's writing here, which is really bad, or they pull almost an equally bad move, which is Sorcerer Supreme, right? Like, woof, everybody forgot. Nobody remembers these events, right? And then it's, oh, it was all a dream? Really? Then what the fuck did we do with our time here? It's going to be the same thing that happened with Miles in Secret Wars, where everything blows up and it's coming to a head and he just gets to jump to another universe. Like, that's where we're going, and it really, really bothers me.
Miles Morales has an eternal get-out-of-jail-free card.
He really does, and it pisses me off.
His individual book doesn't do well. It's canceled and relaunched all the time. His universe gets destroyed. He gets a free get-out-of-jail-free card over to the 616 universe. He drags down what could have been just a fun. I would have loved them to have just, man, if they had just given me like a 6-issue or maybe give me a maxi, give me a 12-issue maxi Spectacular Spider-Man, miniseries with Humberto Ramos doing interiors. Just make it street level, fun, goofy stuff, because that's what he excels at. And it doesn't need to be anything deeper than that. You don't need to attach Miles to it. To try and artificially prop him up because his book's not doing well, which it isn't. Like, stop trying to push the kid.
Give him like some good arcs, like everything.
Where he lives. Honestly, where he lives is the animated films. Like, I don't care for them,
1,000%.
But other people do.
I agree that, yeah.
Other people do. Okay, fine. That's where he lives. He lives in those animated films. The books don't sell.
And like the main difference, guys, is why he works in those films is because they're not saying he is also Spider-Man while Peter is there. It's that very clear delineation that in this universe, that blonde-haired Spider-Man, like your Spider-Man, is dead. We are now Miles is that Spider-Man. So now you can have those moments like when he goes to Peter's grave and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm freaking out. And it means something because he's not just standing over there going, no, you're good. Like, you're fine. Don't even trip about it. So, yeah, the book's rough. Mike asks, what's wrong with Black Panther? Nothing's wrong, per se. It's just
kind of meh.
It's just very meh.
It doesn't do anything.
It is
from
literally...
From what you've said, from what you've told me, because I haven't read it. Because you did. You did read
the movies, like the Black Panther movies, and then combine them with the weird, like, hierarchy stuff they did in the Aquaman movies, and that's what you get in that book. And it's so, like... For example, Mike and everybody else, the very first issue, the big catalyst event of Black Panther, why T'Challa takes up the mantle and goes to war with the Moon Knights. His father, T'Chaka, who is the king of Wakanda, is giving a big old speech to everybody, and a Moon Knight terrorist gets on the platform and blows both of them up. In doing so, he blasts away T'Challa, who was trying to get in the middle of it and save everybody. Where have we heard that before? That's literally Civil War. That is literally where the MCU.
That's literally ripped out of the MCU film.
So that's what it really is, Mike. It's, I guess maybe if you're a real big, I don't know. I don't have any affinity for anything that we're doing here. Even the fact that it was a Black Panther book, I only checked it out because it's part of Ultimate. Maybe I'm not the right demo, but I'm also not getting a lot out of it. So it's just sort of like, yeah, there's a whole thing with the Moon Knights in this universe. It's way too long. Like, we don't need to get into it. I'm sure you'll hear about it eventually. But it's actually like a pretty cool turn. It's just that the book it's in is exceptionally boring.
Hmm.
um, that's a good point. Oki says, it also really annoys me when the spider sense doesn't work like it should. If Miles sensed the giant lady coming, she shouldn't have been able to grab him. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, I didn't.
Hmm.
To be fair, I think
Their argument there. I'm probably going for it right here.
I think you
ready
are.
for it? You ready for it? Their explanation could be something. If we get an explanation at all, could be something along the lines of it only actually alerts you to something that's an actual threat, right? There has to be the threat and intent there, where she's
what I was
just
gonna
there, like,
say.
all right, what are you up to? What are we doing here?
They're gonna
Rather
introduce a
than
new
like,
level of spider sense for
yeah,
Miles, which is like
it's different than
mild
like
caution.
yeah, it's different than her picking him up because she's about to squish him into like
Yeah.
silly putty, right?
So like he probably gets the buzz, but then knowing there's like no inherent actual danger in that immediate moment, he gets by. Again, we're
My
reaching,
biggest
yeah,
guess.
we're
But
reaching
yeah,
as spider.
we're giving them some credit there, basically.
Because the other point I was going to make is that, you know this, Andrew, Marvel just doesn't know how to do the spider sense anymore. Like,
No,
it
they
is
don't.
inconsistent between writer, between book, between
Sometimes they act like it just doesn't even exist because things will happen, and you're just kind of like,
And
wouldn't
then
his spider sense have at
right.
least alert? Whether or not he's able to react in time to it is a different matter. You can play with that, but like nothing, like you didn't. Spider sense just didn't happen at all. Is that not a thing anymore?
Well,
Like
the one
that
that
is
really
very inconsistent.
the use that they do in the comics that really pisses me off is Peter using it as a sort of like metal or like treasure detector. You know what I mean? Like, where's like, I'm looking for this like
Not what
serum,
it
and
is.
he like is crawling on the ceiling, and he's like, oh, my spider sense says I should go over here. I fucking hate that, because that's not what your spider sense is, man. Your spider sense
Your
is
spider sense is not a
immediate
GPS
danger,
locator
right?
or a
It's not
metal
the dragon
detector.
radar. Like, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not the Dragon Raider, and we're not looking for Dragon Balls with Bulma here, right?
It's
Like,
so-
this is
I hate that one the most, and then I hate the one where it's like they overpower it to the point where he's got like future sight, so he's not even like reacting. He's like, oh, something is coming, and I'm like, what?
yeah. There's
Like-
you gotta have a balance with
It's
spider
already a
sense.
broken ass power.
I was gonna say, like, it's already a really busted power because it's precognition on a character who has the physical
Exactly,
capacity to
Not Arkham.
react with that precognition. Because it's one thing, right, to be able to see events
Right.
and perceive
Whoop.
things. It's another to have the physical ability to actually react in tandem with that, right?
Yeah.
Peter is that guy. He can do that. And so when you like either scale that up like even further to like just basically future sight, or you just ignore it, you are playing outside of the safe boundaries
Yeah.
of what will work within the scope of good storytelling.
Because then you open up
And you-
that
and you
like, oh, well, we can
break
just go
your
to the
universe.
max, right? And
Yeah.
everything breaks, which is why
It's stupid.
I know obviously we're early on and Hickman will develop it, but that's why I really like how he's doing his spider sense now, where Peter, like, it really is that something is happening. Like, I know it's coming. The gunshot is coming. I know where it's
She
going to come
has
from,
it,
but
and-
I don't know. Like, I don't know how I know this, but Harry, get the
Yeah.
fuck down.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
I
what it
love
is
that.
is in Ultimate Universe right now, he has the spider sense. And I think it's not really any dissimilar to what it is in 616. But what it is
I mean,
he
yeah, there
doesn't
it is. That's what I
understand
thought.
it. He just doesn't know what it is that he's feeling. He doesn't know what's happening because he's still new to this.
Well, I mean, he
Right.
he even whoa, so many different buttons. He even points it out here. Oh my God, what is happening over here? There we go. Are you gonna zoom in too much? Yep, I knew it. Where, yeah, I feel the tingle again. The danger one from where? And then he sort of just leaps it above. Holy crap! Like,
Yeah, like
it-
neither of them actually know what it is. They just know that it has something
there's
to
something
do with like
there. Yeah, like,
something's impending, right?
but yeah, like overall, like this is. It sucks, guys. Ultimate Universe
This was not
and
a good book.
Spider-Man, you would think that like this would be something Andrew and I would love, but it's It's really rough thus
I
far.
bet you if Hickman wrote this, it would have actually been good, and I would have been like, I still don't like Miles, but this was a good book.
I feel like Hickman heard, like, he was on the chain email that came into the office with everybody from like Ziegler saying, or Tom Brevoort saying, we're doing this. And he immediately just went, I'm not writing this. Like, I'm not, fuck you.
I don't want
Like,
nothing to do with
exactly.
it.
Yeah. You give this to anybody else. I don't want this shit. Like, and knowing Dennis Camp, just from, he's very much more of the like bleeding heart sort of like Democrat liberal. I can definitely see him going like, okay, I'll do it. I'll help everybody out. Like, I'll be the other architect. And
I'll be the hero. Right.
but not, yes, but I also don't think he's thinking of it like, I'm going to be a hero and everybody's going to love me. It's more like, somebody's got to be here. I'm not like, it's not going to be Hickman. Who else knows this?
Right.
I guess I'll do. I'm not going to make Peach do it. I'm not going to make Brian do it. I'll do it because I'm the ultimate. Okay.
And Camp is but he only wanted to deal with it so much, in that he just basically did the outline.
No,
right.
1,000%.
We know him to be a competent writer because that first arc for Ultimates, especially, was really good.
So like I can see the things like Spot appears, steals Tyrone's box, definitely comes from Camp. Everything else, not so much.
Yeah, like all the dialogue bits and stuff like that. That's like, oh boy, yeah, okay, we're pushing Miles real hard here.
Real hard here. And so I feel like it's only going to get worse from here, because then he's going to go to Black Panther and he'll do something about like, oh, a black superhero, inspire Wakanda. And then he'll go to the X-Men and he'll be like, teenage heroes. Wow, we have somebody to look up to. And I'm going to shit my pants.
So this is something I haven't honestly looked into. How is the rest of this event playing out? Yeah, the Spot's design is solid.
We don't know.
And the art is good in this book. The art is good in this book.
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Like that shot right there of like Miles like punching and then kicking Spot in the face. That's a pretty good action panel. And then I pointed out to Andrew, this like, I don't like it at all anyway, but the way they drew the like power up here where he's like charging up his bioelectricity and then great looking panel.
It looks cool. I just wish it wasn't on Miles.
I know.
So the rest of this event, is it literally just Miles going to the other Ultimate Universe books?
We don't know. Like okay, so this is what we know right now. We got the promo of like Miles is going in, crossover happening. It's 4 issues.
Yeah.
We know the run. None of the other solicits say what's happening, and none of the other Ultimate solicits have mentioned anything about like the Visitor or like, you know, make reestablishing himself, like, oh, the X-Men are getting back together after beating the Maker and their visit from a mysterious like, there's none of that. So I literally don't, that's the only reason I think that it's all a dream Sorcerer Supreme thing is on the table, because nobody has talked about where it's going. No interviews. We don't know. As far as I'll put it this way. Like, you know, people will come pitch to you, you know, stories and everything. Literally all we have so far is Miles goes to the 6160 and meets Spot. That's our pitch. We don't know what that means. We don't know any of this shit. And I don't know, man. This was too much of a well-oiled machine to just throw shit into the middle of it.
It was a well-oiled machine that they decided to throw a wrench into.
And I know this was Brevoort. I know this wasn't anybody in that office.
It certainly wasn't Hickman, because you can tell Hickman is like trying to be a very much overseer, master craftsman with this universe right now, and things are being done for the most part very deliberately and intentionally, and things are being paced in order for it to all come to a head at that 24-month mark thereabouts, right? From when the Maker comes back, and you know, we'll see what happens with that. I'm genuinely, you know, looking forward to seeing what happens. But this just feels like an unnecessary diversion that doesn't actually add anything. Like, what is this? What does this
doesn't add anything. It opens up way more than it adds, and we didn't get into it, guys.
Problems.
We didn't get into it because we will go full spider autist here, or like comic book autist, and I know nobody wants to see that between the two of us, right? Like when we do it, we like turn off our cameras and we hide in shame because we're like, we know what we are. But long story short, if you guys recall, this Ultimate Universe, at least where we are now, was established with the Maker is, you know, he's here. He's going into his special city, and he's going to take 2 years to rebuild the world, and he's going to come back out and change it all. And like Andrew was saying, Hickman's been doing it very, very, very. All of them have been doing it, like the 3 main books: X-Men, Black Panther, Spider-Man. But I think they're following Hickman's lead. Like, if he wasn't doing it, they would probably have already accidentally like fallen out of it.
They would have been all over the place.
Hickman is every month, like, it is the time is advancing. We end, we move. Like, he knows where this is going. It is precise. And there are multiple moments in this book where they talk about the time framing. 50-minute discussion between us, easy, about like, that's not how any of this is going to work. And even if they want to say that, how? It can't. It's really slapdash, and it's just, everything was so quality. And now we got this.
It feels like this event wasn't actually planned. It was a handful of months ago. Probably Brevoort was like, "Hey, so Ultimate Universe is still like really kicking hard.
Yeah,
let's toss Miles in there, right? Let's throw in a little quick line-wide event, right?
And
across
it's not even a line-wide.
Ultimate
It's
Universe.
one book. I mean, okay, technically it's a line-wide, but like, it's only happening in these 4 issues. It's so
and only in Ultimate,
This is one of those situations, like with Dennis Camp, where it's like, oh, you shouldn't be attempting this unless you know what you're doing. And I know Ziegler does not know what he's doing here. He's not skilled enough to pull off a very precise, like, not plot twist, but like plot element that would change the track a little bit. Hickman can do it. Maybe Camp can do it. Ziegler cannot do it. He just cannot do it.
If Camp wrote it, I'm sure it would have been at least passable. If Hickman wrote it, I probably would have come away with it. Okay, still don't like Miles, but good story.
But let's see where we're going. Yeah. Like here's another thing that bugged me, Andrew, and you guys. Like, yes, we will get out of here. Let's try. This will be the last one. But a lot. So when they're searching across New York, right? Like for Billy, they're doing a lot of the like popping into windows, walking around, and people are starting to see them. And again, like, why are you exposing yourself so much?
Yeah, why would you do that?
At current, you should be hunted by the Sinister Six Syndicate, whatever they're calling themselves here. It's
right. You're thought to be dead, by the way, Peter, by Kingpin and his Sinister Six. Why are they not on your butt right now?
You were thought to be dead. Richard was filling in for you for a little bit, but then he went with you. So now, like, there is no Spider-Man. If you come back, people are going to go, oh, Spider-Man, he's here. And yeah, it just goes all over.
And you're all looking into everybody's windows. So 3 of you.
Yeah. And now that's going to throw everything off. But I'm only interrupting.
I can't with this book
anymore. I just noticed this when we were staring at this page. Ultimate Jeff, he's here. they did it. It's Ultimate Jeff.
It's Yef.
Right. But yes,
I'm done with this book. It's gonna give me a headache.
As Zero pointed out, man, the stream went the distance tonight. We are good, guys. You know, from the last round we did before the Fan Expo break, that we have our system in. We're locked, but we
had like 2 or 3 streams where we were locked into about 2.25.
But this book, like, we're being good. Like, there's 8 million years Andrew and I could keep going on in this book alone. We spent like an hour and a half on the first page together. Like, that is how pissed off we were. So thank you for hanging out with us, I guess is what I'm going to say. I think that's all we've got for tonight. Ultimate Incursion is off to a bad start. All New Venom is still really, really fun. Absolute Superman is picking up steam. And we'll see what happens.
There are good books out there, guys.
There absolutely are.
You got to wade through some meh and some bleh. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion is some bleh.
It's some bleh, but that's why we're here. We'll take the hits for you guys. We'll let you know what is good to read, what's not good to read, and hopefully you guys have picked something up good from this stream, from our past streams, all that fun stuff. That's what we want to do here, guys. We want to remind you.
I'll see y'all on Thinking Critical Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, Thinking
I don't know if the stream's already up there.
Let's I'll see. Thinking Critical.
Comic aficionados.
There. Well, I have to be careful. So I got it like as my first return, in the search. But after my stuff the other day, I need to be very careful about like what I am searching.
Fair.
It does. Oh, it is up right Now it
For
is
the 7th,
actually
there it is.
We are live. Let's see, browser. Oh, hey, what's up, Felton? Not the
Okay,
window I
there it
wanted.
is.
Yeah,
I will
there you go.
drop that link into the chat.
Andrew, he picked one of the good books, but he picked the Martin art, the Marcos Martin art for it. Like of all the Batman, there are way
Shoot
better
myself
shots of
in the
Batman. That specific absolute like hunched over, getting ready to brawl. There's like 5 of those. Why did you use that one?
And the other 4 are better than this one.
Like exceptionally so. So yeah, guys, this will be Saturday at time somewhere. Why does it not say? Anyway, go. We'll let
9
you know.
a.m. my time.
9 a.m. Yeah, so that'll be. You guys do that. I'm already bad at this. Don't even try
That's
this.
7 a.m. for you.
There we go. Okay.
7 a.m. Central.
I'll
or no,
still.
7 a.m. Mountain. What the hell are you?
What?
Are you Mountain or
I'm
Pacific
in Arizona.
right now?
Whatever. You guys look at the map. I'm the fucking like big clown on the middle of the map. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in the chat hanging out with everybody. I'm excited to see Andrew take our intellectually honest takes into a I don't want to say they're intellectually dishonest, but into a more we're cautious crowd, if you will. So it'll be a lot of fun. Definitely check that out. We'll throw links out, on our Twitters, on our Discords, all that fun stuff as it comes up. Any Rippaverse stuff we want to bring it to anybody's attention? What do we got?
What do we got right now? We're about to be in the final week of the IRA 3. Saints and Sinners over the course of the last week and a half crossed 2 milestones. So it crossed the 5,000 copies sold, which gave us it unlocked
you blew past it.
Yeah, deluxe hardcover edition of the anthology collection. So check that out. That cover was done by, I think, Genus Holland and Marcos Martins did the colors. And then we also just crossed the 250,000 in total sales mark, which means we're going to have a new concept art book from our concept artist over at the Rippaverse, Marcos Rios, which will have concept pieces from all the Saints and Sinners short stories, and with commentary from, I believe, both him and the writers. So that should be super cool. I'm looking forward to that. We're actually in the process of putting that together right now on the back end. So look forward to that. Ripazine number 4 is happening right now. We've got a brand new short story as we do with each of our zines. And this is a kind of investigative reporting story, which is super cool, super unique for our universe, the first of its kind in our particular comic book universe, with a kind of hard-hitting investigative journalist and a really kind of wily and very pretty photojournalist as well. And they make a great duo. That's written by the Saskas. Their first completely original story based on original characters that they created in our universe, rather than like Yaira and Bloodruth, who are characters that they're writing the ongoings for, but Eric created those characters. These are their original characters, and that's doing very well. So thank you to everybody that's supporting those. Check those out. We have a lot more coming down the pipeline, a lot more on the way. We've got more convention appearances we'll be doing later in the year, more zines, more books. So look forward to all that. And thank you so much to everybody who's supporting indie comics, whether it's us, whether it's Iconic, whether it's Aaron Sparrow doing Kneel Before Doomface, Jeff I know he's working on Stealing Solo Part 2 right now. Those of you who got Woke Busters, which is hysterical, and also a book that it's not about what you might think.
It subverts your expectations.
It does, and in an actual intellectual and funny way, which is not something you see these days. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who supports indie comics. You guys are all appreciated.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys, go check out all that Rippa stuff. Definitely go. You're going to want, I know a little few things that are coming down the pipeline. You're going to want to see what's coming next. Go follow them on social media. It's going to be a blast. Yeah. Go subscribe to Andrew on his Twitch, on his YouTube, on his Twitter. For Joel's, I can't even type it right. I'm not even going to try and say it out loud. It's all down below. You can find it. As for me, you can check out boundingintocomics.com every day for new news. Tomorrow, as always, Good Mab Ugly. Let's hang out. I'll probably be freaking out about that Marvel fighting game. And I think that's all. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go nuts. So with that said, guys, until next week, or at least until Saturday morning, that's all I've got. Andrew?
That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys Saturday morning. If you check out the Comic Aficionados stream Saturday at 9 a.m. I just posted it in my Discord. I'll share it in Mavs as well if he hasn't already. And I'll see you then. And then I hope to see you Sunday. With any luck, I'll have a Switch too by
we'll get
Community
you
Night.
on. We'll find
see.
you one. We'll find you one. But also, if you mean when, all right, or like they already know, they're already ready for all of your stuff. It's not an if question here. But yeah, guys, take it easy. We'll see you soon. And Mario Kart. I don't know. I have no sign out. Bye, guys. Oh, and the button didn't work. Why isn't it?
Never before have we had greater face a complex. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but